Well, good evening, Tiger sports fans. Tonight from Rexlinger Stadium, Kip Kern Field, it's boys football. The Bryan Golden Bears will come to town to take on our undefeated Liberty Center Tigers. I'm your host, Mark the Captain Bly. And on the call tonight is Mr. Scott Barrett, back from his ESPN assignment or something like that. We can't tell you. We'd have to kill you if we did. And Spike Whitman's going to be on the play-by-play tonight. We start the week off. We sit down with Coach Casey Moeller, and this week was no exception.
Tiger Sports Live welcomes in Coach. Yet another successful week. We knew Swanton probably was a little undermanned, and I think you planned for that. Got a lot of snaps for kids. Came out of that, I think, relatively healthy. Talk a little bit about what you took away from a week that we kind of knew wasn't going to be your toughest game of the year. Swanton really trying to get on track and do it right. And I know you've talked a lot about their head coach and what their program's doing. Talk about the status of our team today and what you took from Swanton.
Well, we wanted to get out to a fast start, which we did, and got up early. If we could get the freshmen in, we thought that was going to be a big deal for them to get their first varsity action on a Friday. The only downside to that is, our starters did not get a lot of time. They got maybe a quarter in. And so you kind of got to balance that out because you want, those guys put in a lot of time and effort in the week to play on a Friday, and then you get up by 35 points at the end of the first quarter, and it's kind of like we got to, the only thing that can happen after that is an injury, so we didn't allow them to play. But we got a lot of guys some valuable time that, played big roles as far as backups, and getting them some experience was big. We came out of the game healthy. We got a win, and so that's kind of what you want to do no matter what. So it was a good game for some of the younger kids. The older kids, probably got a little bit of a rest maybe they didn't want, but physically is probably a good thing for them.
Yeah, the midseason, and you guys went through quite a bit with your camp in May. Certainly what you did in July, and then your two-a-days. So you kind of felt like you could take a little bit of a breather after you got some things done. Talk about Cam Colley and anybody else that coming into a matchup that you need to be fully loaded. Bryan's going to bring in a 3-2 very highly potent offense. We knew Cam was a little banged up. Is there anybody else to talk about?
Well, we got a couple guys that have some dings and things like that. Jackson Bartels is dealing with a knee thing, from the JV game. And then we've got guys that, maybe have a sore hamstring or, back or whatever it may be. And a lot of times they don't tell you what's going on until, it gets to the point where they have to tell you. But, mid-season like this, for those guys to get a little bit of a break physically is pretty important, because now we're at the point in the season where, we're not trying to build physically up. We're trying to make sure that we don't break down, so to speak. So it's a tough balancing act, but, as we get into some bigger games like we are this week, we want to be physically at our peak as best we can. I don't know if anybody watches Hard Knocks, and they had Dan Campbell of the Detroit Lions on there on the first day of camp. He told his team, this is the best you're going to feel for the rest of the year, which is true. I mean, before the season, that's physically the best you're going to feel. After that, you start to get tired, sore, and banged up a little bit, and that's just the nature of the game.
If you got to maybe spend 1 minute for our fans and just talk briefly. I know that you've got a great calendar, and you guys have avoided a lot of big injuries and fatigue and breakdown. That's why you went on a lot of long playoff runs. So you've got a great formula. Maybe take a minute and talk about your in-season, mid-season grind that you're in. What does that practice look like Monday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday? What types of things are you trying to do to stay sharp, but to pull back a little bit on some of the banging and some of the work?
Well, like Monday is a non-contact day for us. We hit sleds. We do some form tackle just to work on those fundamentals. We do a team pass period that we're just looking to pick up blitzes. It's not full go. And then we run fairly hard to build up our stamina. Tuesday is kind of the same thing, a little bit more contact. We'll do a short period where, we'll get after it for about 6-7 plays, maybe 10 plays, but then back off and just make sure we're playing fast, we're fundamental, we're getting where we need to be. And then it's a fairly heavy run day. But once we get into mid-season, we kind of back off of that a little bit even. So weeks 1 through 5, we're going to run pretty hard and condition pretty hard, build up our conditioning. by mid-season, we're looking to back off just a little bit, especially right before a big game. We want our bodies to be fresh. Wednesday is pretty low conditioning. We just, do some light running to maybe maintain what we've got. And then Thursday, we don't do any kind of conditioning. We want the body to be as fresh as possible. It's low contact. We're only shoulder pads and helmets in practice on Thursday, minimize injury risk and things like that. And then as the season goes on, we probably do a little bit less and less contact on Tuesday, Wednesday than what we did at the beginning of the year. Once we get to a point where we feel like, all right, we're pretty physical. We're not going to lose that physicality if we back off a little bit, but we want to maintain our health a little bit more.
You and I both played for Rex Lindgren. That doesn't sound like a reasonable calendar for Rex Lindgren. Rex never took the foot off the pedal, and I think things turned out pretty well. But I think today, just given the demands of all the kids and the things that you see, you've done just a fantastic job of managing all these things. So, that's why I think we've been so successful late in seasons. Mm-hmm. And not that Rex wasn't. He certainly was, but just a different time. Yeah. And that was something you wanted to bring to the program, I think.
Well, and I think the off season is a little bit different now than it has been because you have expanded days in the summer, and that's not just for football. That's for basketball, baseball, wrestling. So these kids are being taxed June through July, 3, 4, 5 days a week in other sports, and so their bodies are, taking a lot of, action during that time. So we feel like we got to back off just a little bit and give them time to kind of recover. And we monitor weight in season. We still make them weigh in now 1 day a week just to make sure they're not losing weight, because we've had in the past guys lose 10, 15 pounds from the beginning of the season to the end. And we want to make sure that we're not doing that. But that's because, they're burning a ton of calories at practice. They're trying to replenish that each night. But that takes a lot of calories and a lot of discipline. So we're trying to be conscious of that and make sure that physically we're not just wore down by the end of the year.
Quick left turn before we get into Bryan, because you're a dad too, and you've been able to watch your kids be successful. The volleyball team has had just a fantastic year, and I know that Ella's a senior, and you can tell she's a senior. You're getting grayer. Kate graduated. Here is Elle. They're having this great season. Elle gets her 500th kill. Talk a little bit about you stepping away from football for 25, 30 minutes and watching this great volleyball team, watching Elle have a great season, and what's that make you feel like?
Well, I love watching my kids compete. In the fall, it's always been a struggle to try to get to events and things like that, especially when they're in junior high. If I can steal 20, 25 minutes away from practice, catch a home event in junior high, and get back to practice, I've done that as much as I could. The coaches have always been really good about kind of covering me or whatever if they need to pick up something that I'm normally doing. Getting to varsity stuff is a little bit easier because it's later, but a lot of times I'm leaving practice as soon as it's over to get up to the school or even drive somewhere. So that can be a challenge. But I've got other coaches with kids in high school that do the same thing, and I try to be as accommodating as possible because, they're parents first. As much as we love Liberty Center football, I think we love our families a little bit more.
Wait.
It may not seem like that sometimes.
What did you just say, Casey?
My wife might dispute that. But being able to get to see them perform is pretty awesome. And then at such a high level they are this year, that the volleyball team is just having a phenomenal year. Those girls have been playing together for a long time, and things are starting to click now for them. So hopefully they can continue with their success. And, as a parent, you just enjoy seeing your kids compete and succeed. And right now that's what's happening. Getting the chance to coach Thomas and see him play is very rewarding. And we'll have a couple more years with Brooklyn as she gets into high school, and then it's going to be over, and, won't have anything to do.
It's great to have you sneak in with your visor and your whistle, sit on the end of the bench, and then you can tell you're preoccupied to get back or whatever. So it's great that you get in to see your kids. Coach, let's talk about Bryan. Exciting. I know when we were playing and when you were playing, certainly when I was playing, this was a big game. Bryan's the big city. They got all the restaurants. They've got a Sonic. I always said, man, we got Charlie's and we got Pizzanello's and they got Sonic and they got all these fast food restaurants. But the fact is, it's a nice community. It looks a lot like Napoleon. They have lots of participation. They've got lots of athletes. And Grant Redhead, I think he's 41 and 46 with a couple early years, a little bit like Rex, really struggled. He's building something. The continuity in coaching staff has helped Bryan, and they look good on offense. You turn on the film, and they've got a lot of interesting people in their skilled room. I mean, their wide receivers, their running backs, their tight end, certainly their quarterback. I mean, I'm very impressed with Chase Kepler. Talk about the challenge you see Bryan this week bring to Liberty Center.
Well, I think it starts with, Coach Redhead, like you said, the continuity. He's been there quite a long time, really, for a high school coach, and he's established his program and his, offense and defense. And so those kids have been through it, they know it, and they execute it at a high level. So I think it starts there, if you can have that continuity. And then he's got good athletes at the skill position. And like you said, Jace Kepler is going to be a handful. He's very good when he's outside of the pocket at creating things with his feet. He can break long runs, but then he's also got his eyes downfield, and he can dump the ball to receivers. So that's probably one of the biggest challenges is containing him. And then if he does break contain, we got to stay in coverage. But then you got to have somebody, kind of assigned to the quarterback.
Jace can run it. I mean, he ran for 2,300 yards of total offense last year. He's on track to run and throw for 2,500. So he's a dual threat.
And he looks the part. He's about 6'1", 6'2", 180 pounds. Looks great in a uniform. Elusive, strong, whatever. And then Sam Harrell, the running back, is averaging 11 yards every time he carries the ball. Just running. And then in the pass game, he's a huge threat. He might be up there as their leading receiver. And some of that is improvised stuff where he's pass blocking, the quarterback breaks contain. All of a sudden, he just leaks out in the flat, and the quarterback will dump it to him, and it turns into a 40, 50-yard gain.
Yeah.
Because, linebackers, DBs lose track of him as, he's pass protecting. It's like, okay, he's pass pro. We're looking for other threats. And then all of a sudden, he's open. And they do a ton of that. And offensively, they're averaging 44 points a game, which is phenomenal.
It's fantastic.
That's going to be a huge, huge challenge for us. They're not real big up front, but they don't really need to be. If they can get a body on you and kind of shield you, they let the quarterback do his thing, and they've been very, very successful with that.
It does look like they're very reliant. Obviously, they want to. We talked about it. They want the ball back. Mm-hmm. They're willing to give up certain things. And last week, certainly Patrick Henry went on these long, sustained drives, really ran the football. PH very balanced on offense, a lot like we are. I mean, we're probably not as balanced per se because we love to run the football so much, but can be. And I think Bryan was like almost, okay, be patient, let them get in the end zone. But then they were a quick strike last week. That was a great game in Northwest Ohio. If you got a chance to watch that, which I know we all did. I mean, when you watch a game like that, your biggest takeaway up against the PH, what was your takeaway against, what did Bryan show you last week?
Well, I think one of the things is they're not afraid to be in second and long, third and long.
Right.
They get 1-2 yards being, a third and long, and then bust off a 60, 70-yard touchdown, and they're completely comfortable with that. So, you can't let your guard down. And one of the things Coach Bryan's always preaching is we got to get off the field on third down.
Right.
So third down defense is a pretty big emphasis in the fact that we can't, be 3rd and 10 and think, okay, they're not going to get this and relax, because they're more than capable of converting that into much more than 10 yards. So that was probably the biggest takeaway. And then obviously we want to put points on the board, and if we can get a lead, we can't really relax, but it's a little bit more comfortable. We maybe make them a little bit more predictable offensively, and they'll have to go to the pass game a little bit more, which helps when you're trying to call the defense. Okay, here's what we want to do.
Right.
If you have to stop the run game, now you're susceptible to the RPO stuff that they do in the play action.
Well, obviously this week, Coach, we wish you great luck, because we think that Bryan is probably the best offense that we'll see until we get deep into the playoffs. But Bryan comes into this game 3-2, coming off a fantastic week against Patrick Henry. Of course, we're having a great season, 5-0, and I'm sure you're looking to keep that ball rolling. So we wish you great luck this week, and really anxious to see what we're doing on the defensive side of the ball. You and Matt have come up with some good game plans. You'll be stretched this week.
Well, it'll come down to the kids. If they execute whatever we do, we're going to be fine. But and we've got good kids, and those guys like to play defense. So it's going to be a big challenge, and hopefully we rise to the occasion.
Friday night, Rex Lindgren Stadium, Kip Kern Field. Bryan brings in a potent offense. If you want to be entertained, Friday's the night. Good luck, Coach, and we'll see you then. Friday's the night. Good luck, Coach, and we'll see you then.
Thank you.
All right, we're back here at Rexlinger Stadium, Kip Kern Field. Once again, the Bryan Golden Bears come to town to take on our undefeated Liberty Center Tigers. And I'm here with Scott Barrett and Spike Whitman. And, guys, I think this is going to be a very, very entertaining game tonight.
Well, if anybody took a look at the numbers from last week, that track meet in Hamler was fantastic. You know, Bryan just stayed right with Patrick Henry and late had a chance to tie that game on a 2-point conversion. Play got broken up, but I'll tell you what, Spike, Bryan is fully capable. They're a pinball. You know, they like to play a lot of offense. This offense is so potent. They're averaging almost 44 points a game. So you're talking about one of the best offenses in all of Northwest Ohio, bringing their stuff here to Rexlinger Stadium and Kip Kern Field.
Well, I think Coach Inselman rounded it out really good. He said, we controlled the ball, we made plays, we grounded out, we did what we had to do, and we had the possession. But just like that, Bryan would come back and make a big play. Then they'd make another big play, and that kept them in the game. That wide open offense, where the running back, the featured running back, is also their leading pass receiver. So everything revolves around, the quarterback Kepler and the running back Sam Harold. Quarterback number 2 and Harold is number 6. Concentrate on those two, and that's where we shut them down.
I think where our viewers will enjoy this offense, it's very collegiate. They're in a lot of shotgun. They're in a lot of 3 and 4 wide sets. It's kind of a video game. Kids like to play video games. They play Madden. This offense looks a lot like a video game, and it's run by Jace Kepler. Last week, Kepler went 16 for 28 with 4 touchdowns against a pretty stout Patrick Henry defense. I mean, you're looking at a top-ranked team in Division 7 and Patrick Henry undefeated and a real heavyweight here in the NWOAL here in 2023. But do not sleep on senior running back Sam Harold. Last week, 9 rush attempts for 109 yards. Then he capped it off with 5 catches for 120, Spike. Sam,
wow.
before his injury as a younger player, he was an outstanding wide receiver. So here's a guy that can run it, who can catch it. And they are loaded, quite frankly, with offensive players up and down the scouting report. Number 44, junior, 5'9", 190, Damian Wolf. He runs hard in between the tackles. They are loaded with senior H-backs and wide receivers, and they are tall. Number 4, 6'3", junior Gavin Jessing can go up and get balls in the corner of the end zone and fade routes. He's very effective and uses his size well. Their tight end, 6'2", 202-pound junior Carter Dominic, another size mismatch. So there is a lot of weaponry with Bryan tonight, starting with Jace Kepler. And Jace Kepler, he might be, as you alluded to, Spike, a better runner than he is thrower.
Yeah, now you look at stats, and stats lie, and you can't believe in stats. It comes down to what happens in the trenches and out in the wide open spaces. But he's averaging 60% completion percentage.
Yes.
Landon Amstut's averaging 57% completions. But when you get big plays, that will keep you in a game. I would love to believe that Liberty Center, from top to bottom, inside and out, right to left, has a better overall football team. But the fact that big plays are there, Casey knows it. Their offense is going to try to spread our defense out. If with that the case, anything can happen.
Yeah, I think they really work on isolating their mismatches. A little bit what we saw in Tenora early in that first half. Tenora did a good job of exploiting some areas on the field that we really started to pay attention to at halftime, and then we shut that down. One of my concerns tonight, Spike, and I'm really not sure the status of Cam Colley, who, quite frankly, you can argue pound for pound is one of the most impactful players in the entire league, maybe the entire area, both in the return game and, of course, as a defensive back. He has really grown, and he has been a stopper for us at corner. Also, Grady Miller has been a great addition to that defensive backfield,
yes,
making plays. He's got size, and I can see Casey, who really values size in some of these matchups, working against Carter Dominic, who's 6'2", working against Gavin Jessing, who's 6'3". So we have a little size to combat some of their wide receivers. No question about it. I think one thing you have to look out for, they get a lot of yards, Spike, with Sam Harold slipping out of the backfield. this is not just a vertical offense. They're not like the Oakland Raiders throwing 80-yard passes.
Great point.
Even though Jace Kepler can do that, where I think Jace Kepler really threatens Liberty Center. He's athletic enough to get out of the pocket. He makes a lot of things happen outside the hashes to set up the passing game. Sometimes you think about RPO, run, pass, option. He is a classic RPO quarterback. Jace Kepler, one of the best offensive players in the league, and tonight will really stretch and test Liberty's defense.
Right, and you think of Liberty Center, the brawn and everything, and controlling the line of scrimmage. In a game like this, some of that luster is diminished because they are going to make it not necessarily downfield, but a lateral game, and get them spread out, get a lot of one-on-one
isolation. You got it. And one of the things I watched last week, and I know you did when I watched the huddle film, because I think Patrick Henry's a little bit like us. They're balanced on offense. They run the football well. Patrick Henry, to your point, you said it earlier, a lot of sustained drives. They did a lot of work up front. They won the line of scrimmage, most snaps, a little bit like what you're going to see from us. And Patrick Henry is probably more explosive in the pass game. They've got a little bit more weaponry there. We're more focused on running the football. And I ultimately think, quite frankly, Liberty Center in the trenches and just winning the battle of the hitting. And I think when you watch that film and you look at what Bryan can do, to your point, Spike, I think ultimately the violence and viciousness and the way Liberty Center plays is just old school. This is very reminiscent of you've ever watched the 70s Oakland Raiders or the early Rex Lindgren teams. These are street fights. And I think Casey said it earlier in the year. It's like, there's so much hitting going on that football eventually breaks out with this team. Like they start with the hitting, they finish with the hitting. And I'm really not sure that Bryan has been up against a team that's going to bring it to them like Liberty. I mean, maybe Van Wert. Van Wert's a tough WBL team. They typically lose that game early. But man, oh man, the way Bryan likes to play, they want to get on the field on offense. They want to get off the field on defense. It really makes for a contrast in styles tonight, Spike, that we haven't seen all year.
Well, and I think there's a couple more things that are going to play a part in this. With them having that explosion, that big play potential, it's paramount, and Casey stressed this week. We must get off to a good start.
Yes.
A smart start. We're not going to commit penalties early. We're not going to pull the big play. We're going to execute. Trust the man beside you to execute, and we can control the tempo early. Should we do that, that puts us in a great place. Liberty, of course, is going to want to use the clock. They'll grind it out. Bryan is going to be big play. Now, we're not going to stop them all night. The question is, are we going to be able to pound it at them? Because if we can, and we can get through the first quarter, we stand an excellent chance to win.
Agreed, and I think that's what I'm going to be looking for early in this game. I think you're going to see a lot of fireworks from Bryan and Jace Kepler and Sam Harrell and Drew Hahn and Carter Dominic. It goes on and on and on. They have 6 and 7 offensive players that can beat you in a one-on-one isolated situation outside the hashes on the numbers. So they are impressive in their skilled players. But let's be honest here. When you break Bryan down, I think a weakness that they have is the line of scrimmage. And, man, that is a strength in spades for Liberty Center. We are a 5-star up front, our offensive line, Landon Bockelman. You've got guys that just down the line of scrimmage that are dominant players. Seth Navarre, Tyler Lay. I mean, it goes on and on and on. Clayton Seal. I mean, you just got players all over the place that can really move people and control clocks. And we get a lot of explosion out of our run game. And if you remember last year, Matt Orr, 0-1 trap, 4-5 power spike.
Yeah,
almost. I think, did he have 300 yards last year against this Bryan team?
Yes, I believe he did.
Straight 0-1 trap, on straight 4-5 power. I mean, we absolutely dominated Bryan, and I think there's a chance tonight you might see something very similar. Our run game against their line of scrimmage and their run defense tonight.
Right, that is you hit the nail on the head as far as I'm concerned as well. The key maybe isn't our defense against their offense, while that is a very important factor. But if our offensive line sets the tone early, after all, their running back Harold averages 10.5 yards a carry,
yes,
but for Liberty Center, Trent Cruz averages 10.5 yards a carry. Colton Cruz averages 8.5 yards a carry. Chambers, out of some of his jet sweeps, averages 11. And then you bring off Thomas Moeller, 9. Waylon Rentz averages 6 yards a carry on a lot of short types of runs, of designated runs. He's not running that glorified jet sweep. He's not getting out there in wide open spaces. He pounds the middle. So I think Liberty Center's ground game, the offensive line, the ground game is paramount. Now, passing. Last week he was, Kepler was 16 out of 28 against Patrick Henry. For the season, now this is in 4 games, not 5, mind you, for Amstutz. He is 16 of 28 for the year. 28 passes in 4 games. So he's averaging 7 or 8 tosses a game. But very effective. He's got great receivers, great hands. Colton Chambers, out of that wingback spot, is as good a handsman as we have on the squad.
Well, he's a Chambers, and the Chambers boys are known for having great hands. I feel like I'm a recorder, a tape recorder. We say that every week, but the catches that they make and the traffic that they're running in, I mean, from that wing position, your wing is not getting these flies. They're not getting 9 cuts. They're not getting straight streaks down the field. These guys are running inside the hashes. They're running tough routes. They're running possession-type routes. So it takes a physical receiver. It takes a guy that can catch with his hands, not just with his body. And Colton Chambers, I think, has really grown, and I think you've pointed this out a lot this year, as a blocker. Both Leighton and Christian, and specifically Christian, as a legendary a wing-back blocker, like a guard wide receiver type who could run.
A pulling guard that got way out in front.
He's a pulling guard that can catch the ball, in open spaces. But Colton has been just an outstanding player, both as a blocker, as a route runner, and a first down, move the chains type possession receiver.
Well, and then if you used Landon Cruz in an offense, some of the other throwing teams in the area, there's a guy that'd be averaging 7 or 8 catches a game. He's got super hands as well.
Well, I love the way you drew the contrast between all the offensive firepower I listed for Bryan, a lot of tight ends and wide receivers, a lot of running backs that like to catch the ball, out of the backfield. And you counter that argument with 5 and 6 really high-quality running backs. I mean, Trent and Colton Cruz are just buzzsaws. I mean, those guys are game breakers. I didn't think they were home run hitters in the run game. I've been proven wrong. They are home run hitters. So they can run inside the tackles and just bury and beat you to death, and really make linebackers and secondary and safety people just really wish they didn't have to come to work that day. Those guys are both have enough speed and enough guile, and they're cutting and reading in this offense. They've been spectacular. But you also mentioned, which I think is really important, Colton Chambers running some of those wide traps. Coming off that wing, he's been very effective. I love Thomas Moeller. He has emerged as a guy that can really see the hole. You cannot lay 2 hands on him. He does a great job of avoiding a lot of contact. He sees space. He's got a great set of feet. And then you've got Waylon Rentz, who is an absolute sledgehammer. I mean, when Waylon Rentz, number 19, is coming at a linebacker, everybody would like to check out. Check out of work, to hit the time clock and hit the road. That guy is no fun to tackle. So Liberty Center is not just dominant up front, Spike, but they are dominant with their running backs. Yes. Those running backs want contact. They look for color, and oftentimes they find space because guys don't want any part of them.
Xander Zeider, certainly not a forgotten man in this rushing offense, but a lot of times he'll be in there as a fullback, as a lead blocker, and he's a menace to society back there. I mean, this kid's tough.
Well, I tell you what, Xander has had a position change. He came to the coaches and said, listen, I can run the football. He changed his body. He had a great summer and great spring in the weight room. And then you're starting to watch him run, and you've called it a lot. Great feet, almost like a Jerome Bettis.
Yes.
He gets in like a Sean Westhoven. He gets in the hole. He's able to make guys miss and then punish guys to finish runs. So, I don't want to forget him. He's certainly a rising star in that running back room. But at the same time, our offensive line is unheralded but is dominant.
Right.
I mean, if there's not 4 first-team All-League players, first-team All-District, and some All-Ohio players in that offensive line, I don't know what is. But I will tell you, tonight, I've been so impressed with the emergence of number 55, Brady the Goose Gieseke.
Oh, yeah.
And I can tell you, and watching film on Goose and talking to Nick Miller, and I got a chance to coach Nick and just really admire him. And Paul Amstutz has done such a good job with the guards, but Nick has worked really hard to bring Brady Gieseke and Hunter Spangler into these rotations. And, man, they have not only been young and good, but they have been dominant at times. Both Brady and Hunter have done such a good job in those rotations and giving that offensive line depth. So you know about Bockelman, and you know about number 70, Seth Navarre. You know about those players. They're already all league players. But now you've got players that like Tyler Lay, who came back and has been dominant. You add a Brady Gieseke and a Hunter Spangler. Man, that is one heck of an offensive line. It's deep.
Yes.
It's powerful. It's dominating.
Number 63,
Brogan. Steve Brogan's been phenomenal at guard.
Another excellent job.
Player of a game early. What an offensive player of the game against Tenora, I think, right?
Yep, that's right. Now, we've talked about a lot of the different areas. Let's talk about a mental approach. You know, Liberty Center, the varsity, has not played an overabundance. We've handled 5 opponents. Little trouble with Tenora. Came on in the second half. Handled Napoleon. Handled Otsego. Handled Archibald, and that was a big one. Well, then there were issues, and then a lot of regrinding and gadgetating the direction we're going. The Tigers had a great week of practice. They had Swanton, and the varsity got a quarter. For the most part, the varsity got 1 quarter. Mm-hmm. Those guys, I'm telling you, from what I've seen this week, they are very focused. They are very, very hungry. They are ready to prove a point tonight that we are the real deal, and you better just get out of our way.
You better believe.
Yeah.
You didn't believe then. You better believe now.
I think early in the season, you were wondering where Tenora was at, and you're thinking through Napoleon. They're struggling. But then you get a chance to go against Archibald, who's one of the area's top teams. Coach Dominic has just built a really consistently good program there. And quite frankly, outside of a couple of controversial things in that game, Liberty Center dominated that game.
Well, Archibald had 2 big plays, and that was it. Their offense really did not – they had a couple drives that they, ended in a pick 6 in one and ended up in another interception in the other. Other than that, they scored on 2 special teams plays.
And Mark, Liberty was dominant in that game in all 3 phases, but I think what I took away from that game, and I was in Blacksburg, Virginia that day watching Purdue beat Virginia Tech, as I watched that film, I just kept saying to myself, man, we are just hitting. I mean, our kids were just so focused and fired up. And to Spike Whitman's point, if you listen to Casey Mueller in our interviews on Wednesday, you don't see a lot of fluctuation in his voice. He's not throwing a fiesta. He's not laughing. He's not crying. It is all business for Casey Mueller every week. It is a business. He's a CEO of one of the most powerful organizations in Northwest Ohio football.
Yeah, and he mentioned that. He just said, we talked about, are you geared up for Archibald? Archibald's the big one. Yeah.
Where's the juice?
And he said it's a business trip.
Business trip.
And I was like, wow. I mean, that to me, the other thing he said, hey, we have some guys out there that love to hit. Football just happens to end up around him.
I was saying that to Spike earlier, and Spike, to your point, I think it's really something our fans should focus on, is that football can be an emotional game, and football can be a violent game, and football can be just a game that is with so many mood swings. You see so many kids get fired up and they're excited, and they get down a little bit when you're losing or you get hit. Casey Mueller is steady. His heart rate is steady. This guy is a cool operator, smooth as silk, does not get rattled. I mean, he's really matured, and he was always that as a player. I coached him in '96. He was a great safety. He lacked speed. He didn't hit anybody. He wasn't that athletic. But, man, that guy knew everything that was going on both sides of the ball. He was a perfect profile for a coach, and he's really brought, I think, this program a professionalism, a business-like. So when you talk about focused and hungry, that starts at the top with Casey Mueller.
Right, and Rex Lindgren, time after time after time, always defends his choice. Yeah, I picked Casey. To me, there was absolutely no doubt in my mind that he was the best suited to take this program over.
Well, he certainly has proven that choice right. And, we talk about continuity, and we talk about what Bryan's trying to do over there, but I think Grant Redhead, this is his 9th season. In his first 2 seasons, he was 3-17. Well, so was Rex Lindgren. Rex Lindgren was 20-20 in his first 4 seasons and went on to win, 350 games or something like that. So, 250 games. It seemed like 350. But Grant has done some really good work in building back a football culture, Spike, that talking to Hal Huber, he cuts my hair over in Bowling Green.
Oh, yeah.
Hal Huber gives me great stories.
Oh.
Hal was on the sidelines. He played for Norm Decker, who was one bad mamma jamma as a football coach and a Hall of Famer here at Liberty Center. But he said that in those days, Bryan was tough. They played a tough brand of football. It was a farming, agricultural community, and things. Rex Lindgren joined us in the booth
and
here.
He says it's 253.
Okay,
not 3.
I was thinking 353, big fella, but. Yeah, well, we said Grant Redhead was 3-17 his first 2 years. That's what you were, and you went 20-20 after 4 years. Then you started really putting together the wins. But
we got people like Jurassics and
Keller, same stuff.
Liberty Center won the toss and they deferred, so they'll kick off to Bryan here.
Well, I want to go back to Grant Redhead and complete that point, though. Grant Redhead's got a roster of 43 players, and you'd say, wow, that's not a lot for a district with 12 fast food restaurants and a nice downtown and a public
traffic
square.
Lights, a bunch
traffic
of them.
lights, for sure. And I was there last night for a 7th grade football game, and, man, their junior high football program's on fire. 29 kids in 7th grade, 24 in 8th grade. So Coach Redhead has done a lot of good work. I think he is 41-46, but then he really was able to put together a nice run the last 4 or 5 years. Last year, 6-5, got him back to the playoffs. Continuity at head coach really matters. Rex Lindgren being here for 32, 33 years. Casey Moeller now follows him, and I think the continuity and the similarities and the culture has just continued for Liberty. I think that's what Coach Redhead's trying to do at Bryan.
Yeah, and, we've had some fantastic teams the last 3 years.
We have.
But the 6 years before that, we went 3-3 against Bryan. So
right.
They're that sleeping giant
They are.
that you don't want
in
to wake
between
up.
big games, between big games. So I've just been very impressed with, I think, what Grant's trying to do in a very methodical, football culture kind of way. I think he's trying to get that Bryan that we used to know.
Yeah.
And I can tell you in the 80s, they were doggone good. Cliff Height had some great teams and a lot of kids out. They were physical. And I think they had some good teams in the 90s. And to your point, they had some good teams in the 2000s. They lost it there for a little bit. Now, he has tried to rebuild with athletes, and this roster is loaded full of speed and skill and quarterbacks and wide receivers, things that we don't grow here. We grow guards and wingbacks and fullbacks. That's what we grow here. So today it's going to be a really fun game to watch, I think, for our fans, a great game for our kids to play in, and it's going to be a great challenge, and we're going to be stretched. Matt Bryan is going to be stretched to call a good game against a very, very highly skilled Bryan football team.
You said it all there. Well, we're about 20 minutes away from kickoff.
Hey, let's thank our sponsors here as we get ready to head into the kickoff. KK Collision, the leader in automotive repair for 27 years.
You all right, big guy?
They're so good it makes me choke up. 27 years. Meyer-Badenhop Insurance since 1933 in Northwest Ohio has been the home of the Meyer-Badenhop Insurance Agency. Call them, one of their Henry County locations, for your insurance needs. STN Design, your home for custom screen printing and embroidery, and the producer of our shirts this year in our store. We thank them for what they do. The Affinity IT Group for your corporate cybersecurity managed service needs. Get a hold of affinityitgroup.com. 3Chord, sign it, sew it, screen it, promote it. Davis Farm Services, the family-owned agronomy business right here in Northwest Ohio, helping farmers for over 50 years. A great Liberty Center business, the Liberty Center family. Swanton Welding, they've been providing their customers with the greatest quality metal fabrication services since 1956. back when Spike was a senior in college in 1956.
Yikes.
Pam
Yikes.
and Dick Leatherman, longtime supporters of Tiger Sports Live. Pisanello's Pizza right uptown, Liberty Center. They're great pizza subs, wings, salads, and a good buffet every day. People got on me because I said they got a good buffet some days, meaning that they didn't have buffet every day. Not that it was bad some days, folks. And then last but not least, the Gerald Green Center's that farmer-owned cooperative. 9 locations here in Northwest Ohio, 1 in right downtown Liberty Center. Whew. Guys, I'll tell you what, the other couple things, we'll kind of take care of some homework here. Did you go out and look at the new TigerSportsLive.com website?
Fantastic.
Yeah, we're developing
Have you seen that?
No,
Oh, man.
not.
Well, Spike, his computer, you have to crank it.
He's still got this.
Well,
He's got the flip
I
phone.
gotta
He's got the
crank it
flip
up.
He's
phone.
got a flip phone. Come on. Yeah, but if you've gone out on our website, we've joined forces with a Liberty Center web development and marketing company, believe it or not. Rebecca Whitty and her company, Ape Forge, has committed to working with us, all free of charge on behalf of the things that we do. They're going to volunteer like us, their services, and you got to look for good things. We got our apparel store, the schedule. We also, one of the things I wanted is the sports schedule from school.
Yeah.
It's one of the things that you couldn't find on our site, which drove me crazy, is, hey, where's the volleyball team next Tuesday? I don't know because we're not broadcasting it, but they're on the road. So on our website now, you'll see the athletic schedule that's maintained by our athletic department, and it's a live schedule, so if it changes, it'll be on there. So if you're looking for games or who's playing on what day or whatever, go to lctigersportslive.com, and we'll be building more things into that. So,
Well, and one of the things I liked about it is, I'm not quite from the flip phone era, but it gives me a chance to get a platform I can go to and get a lot of different things. And I know
Right.
there'll be some information about LC Tiger Sports Live, our foundation, and how we're building that and growing that. And coming out of the Fall Fest, a lot of really good feedback from our community, a lot of good feedback from our parents and the kids that are starting to participate in LC Tiger Sports Live, and that's only going to grow.
And we've got a whole press box full tonight of helpers and students and videographers, and it's just a great thing. We also, one of the biggest hits of Saturday was the Sac-A-Reno T-shirts.
The introduction of the Sac-A-Reno.
Or should I say, T-shirts. I've been waiting all day for that one. But Spike was there autographing. We had some kids come.
That's
it
cool.
was Spike, I'm going to speak for both of us because I was too. It was quite humbling. It really was, wasn't it, Spike? Spike and I stood there, looked like two little kids that didn't know what to do. But man, what a great response! We're very grateful. And there's days where we want to chuck it all in, throw it in the press box, close the door, and go home. And that reminds us why we do what we do. So.
A lot of good feedback from the Fall Fest, Spike.
Yep.
And my kids, kids came back from the Fall Fest and said, Dad, can we order some Sac-A-Reno T-shirts? I'm like, yeah, man. Charlene says, I want my Sac-A-Reno T-shirt. And Beatrice from the 3rd floor, Dad, I want my Sac-A-Reno. I'm ordering like 12 Sac-A-Reno T-shirts. And you got to sign the Sac-A-Renos for him, by the way.
Here's the funny thing, though. So we ordered 5 3X shirts, right? The Bachman family shows up. They're
Just
gone.
clean them out. Well, it makes sense because he's authored many of your Sac-A-Reno calls the last 3 years, buddy.
Yeah,
So-
he should get like a residual every time you say it.
Well, the thing I like most about the Sac-A-Reno is it's got a Spike Whitman.
Yeah, little
Spike Whitman credit under the Sac-A-Reno.
About a half an inch high. That's plenty big enough.
Yeah, that was too big for him when he saw that, and then he signed him, and that was funny. I tell you what, it was just an overwhelming response. Very humbled by that, and we're very grateful for all the support we get for you guys out there, and I'm sure there's more good things to come. That's all I can say. We're developing our relationship with the school a little bit better. We've got some students involved.
And teachers that want to
participate in
feed
there.
us some prospects. And,
The school has been very good, very receptive, pretty much given us a lot of leeway. I always used to say, ask for forgiveness, not permission, but Richie and I are almost on the same page on that one.
Well, we've got such
Mr. Peters, I should say.
Well, we've got such a strong administration with Richie Peters, a superintendent. Caleb Pullman is 5-star athletic director. I mean, this is just a top-notch operation, top to bottom at Liberty Center. Look at the facilities. Look at the way we're treated here, the way the opposing media is treated here. I mean, Spike, I don't know. You've been around a long time. You remember this was Tiger Stadium, and we all remember that I played in Tiger Stadium. But, man, this production, this operation, this is corporate football in a very, very hometown, family reunion kind of way.
Oh, I mean, it don't get no better than this, to use a worn-out expression.
I don't have that on the board.
No, you don't need it. But it's the thing that amazed me when I first moved to Liberty Center when I was 5 years old. In a couple of years, my dad and the neighbor got to be good friends. They'd go to football games, and I got to go when I was about 7. And all they talked about was, boy, we're the little guy, we're the underdog, but we fight like the Dickens, and we take them on no matter what size, where they're from. And it was smash mouth, I mean truly smash mouth football. And Liberty could dole it out, dish it out. They could give it, they could take it as good as anybody. And the tradition started many, many, many years ago.
Yeah, this is not something that started under Rex Lingering.
Oh,
I mean,
no.
this was Ron Rollins, and this was Norm Decker, and this was Minor Kirshner. I mean, those guys authored some tough, old-school football teams.
Right. And I remember being uptown and listening to the old guys talk about when they played, like for the 1938 league championship. That was when you had Bryan was huge. Defiance was in
Napoleon.
the league. Napoleon was
Monsters,
in the league.
Wasion.
And Delta and
Swanton,
Swanton.
a lot of years.
Yeah, and we were the little guy, period. And it was something that was formed among us. It's us against the world, and doggone it, we don't care. Bring it on.
Well,
and that has lived ever since.
I always tell the story when I moved. I went to Libby High School, grew up in South and Broadway.
Libby Cowboy.
Libby Cowboys. Grew up on South and Broadway. So, I grew up in downtown Toledo, essentially. When we moved out here, they kept talking about the boys. Well, the boys, the boys are going to be up at the stadium. I'm like, who are the boys? And they're like, you're not from around here, are you? When they say the boys, they mean the football team. So, it's crazy that the town has adopted this whole methodology. And they've adopted us, too, as part of that. I know the last year when we weren't going to be able to do the game against Coldwater at Lima because they told us, nope, there's no way, no room, no whatever. I thought there was going to be a revolt. And there was going to be armored vehicles driving to Lima to do that. So it's just been crazy. But, this has been a wild ride, Spike. We've been together since, I did check, 2005. We've been together. You started in 96. Jimmy Leatherman. And what was that? One of the Atkinsons, too, was right?
Tom Atkinson was the master of ceremonies, Stick, yeah. He ran the camera, did all the extraterrestrial work like you do, Mark. And of course, 27 years ago, all I had to do was yell and shout and act like the village idiot, and he did all the hard work.
That would be the chief information officer.
Yeah. And so Captain the same way. He's done it all.
Hey, I'm going to throw something out here, too. We're proud of one of our alumni, Ori Killam, plays goalie for the Defiance Yellow Jackets College. He is now the #1 goalie in saves in the nation.
Wow.
In the nation in that division. He was Defensive Player of the Week for the collegiate conference that they're in. But,
the Heartland Conference.
Yep, the Heartland Conference. But the #1 defensive goalie in the nation in saves.
That's fantastic.
Wow, that's
in the nation,
incredible.
so great deal.
And kind of building on what Mark and Spike are talking about tonight, we get a unique opportunity to see our LCYF, Liberty Center Youth Football tonight. You get a chance to watch 191 players in Liberty Center Youth Football. And Norm Zeider and the Swanton Welding Group, who's been a huge supporter of youth football, is also a supporter of our pregame, Swanton Welding in our pregame. But very impressive numbers in our youth football, and that is pre-K, ages 4 through 6th grade. You think it's in their bloodline to play football at 4 years old?
Hey, I do want to give a shout out. Gabe Clapp, number 72. has a knee injury, and he's home recovering right now, so he's listening to us. So
I know that back in 2010 we started running our youth football kids onto the field with flags and tiger balls and those kind of things. Tonight they get their chance against Bryan to be on the big boy field.
Yep.
Number 72, Gabe Clapp. 235-pound sophomore. I tell you what, give that young man. Don't worry, Gabe. You might be hurting now and wishing you were here, but don't worry. You got 2 years to go, and I think, from what I understand, you've got a fine future.
We'll cover it for you, bud. We'll cover it for you.
The voice of the Liberty Center Tigers, Zeb Orr, has passed me a note. Liberty Center won the toss, but deferred.
Yep.
Bryan will receive the kickoff. So Liberty Center wants to get started playing defense and getting after the Bryan Golden Bears right away, getting a chance to see what they're going to bring to us on offense.
All right, we're getting ready for the alma mater, I think, national anthem here. So we're going to switch over to the field camera, and we'll be back right after the national anthem.
Performance of our alma mater, Dear Liberty, conducted by our band director, Mr. Lance. We live in a country with freedoms like no other. To honor our great nation, please remain standing. Gentlemen, please remove your hats, and please sing along as the band plays our national anthem, the Star-Spangled Banner.
All right, we're back. Guys, Liberty's been off to some fast starts. I see, Spike, you mentioned at Swanton, the offense had, I believe, less than 7 plays in the first half.
Yeah, it wasn't very many at all. They had 2 touchdowns on 3 plays, and then, I think,
and we scored on a pick 6.
Yeah, and then we scored 2 more scores on a couple of possessions each, something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, and I think it's important for Liberty to establish themselves quickly here. I think Bryan with their potent offense, and again.
All right. Hold it, Captain.
Yep.
Here they come. 191 strong. Look at them streaming through the Tiger and flying now through the horde after horde.
They had to start back at the elementary.
And here they also come, our swashbuckling men in black, those Liberty Center football Tigers. Oh, I love it. Resplendent in their black jersey, orange pants. That is color. That is vicious toughness. Yeah.
Well, the sun setting, the atmosphere here is just absolutely perfect. Spike.
Love watching our youth players get a chance to be on the field with their heroes, running through the tunnel, through the Tiger, and getting a chance to break through. I mean, that is just an experience like no other for a kid that's 5, 6, 7, and 8. I think that really drives the hunger for them to want to be Liberty Center Tigers, Spike. I tell you what, we've got it going from pre-K to seniors. It's a cradle-to-grave deal around here in football, isn't it?
Oh, buddy. You know, the flag, the wind must have slowed down again, and it had been slow for a long time, but just about the time they struck up the first chords of the playing of the national anthem, that flag unfurled, came out in full force, and it was a thing of beauty. All right, Tigers will start on defense. So, here we go. The outside tackles, we'll call it, because they're interchangeable. Xander Zeider, number 33. On the other outside, number 70, Seth Navarre. And in the middle, Man Mountain Cannon, number 75, Landon Backelman. Also, you'll see Noah Jensen, Goose Giesecke, and Hunter Spangler, seeing a lot of action there. The linebackers, and this is a tackling crew, I want to tell you. Trent Cruz on one side, number 5. Colton Cruz, number 2 on the other. Middle linebacker, Waylon Rentz. By the way, Trent Cruz leads the team with 38 tackles. The next 3 guys are all bunched in there at 20. Trenton Cruz, a force amongst this forceful linebacker crew. Our snipers, Colton Chambers, football player, old school extraordinaire. On the other side, you've got Brooks Bainfeld, number 20. Also, Max Weaver changing in, number 67. The cornerbacks, number 1, Grady Miller. On the other side, number 7, Cam Colley. And as free safety, number 8, Landon Cruz.
That defense has played phenomenal football. They were outstanding last year, and they have just had a repeat performance. And it all starts up front with Seth Navarre and Landon Backelman. Both guys are just top-notch, all-Ohio-type players. But you called it. Xander Zeider has been the surprise of this defensive line, and you've got Goose Giesecke as well as Hunter Spangler. Yeah. It is a great rotation. Noah Jensen's in that rotation. You know, they're deep, and they're very good. A lot of our 2 deep start for most of the teams in this league.
Okay. Let's see how we're lined up out there.
Well, first of all, let me just make it very clear. We have the best special teams in terms of punting, kickoffs, and field goals. I would say we would rival anybody in the state of Ohio, as Max Walker is a phenomenal kickoff specialist and does a great job in the punt game. We have won a lot of games. Last year, Archbold here, Max Walker was our MVP of that game. So we are very fortunate to have great kicking in this program.
Now, Max Walker is actually number 50. Not 67. And let's see, I believe Garrison Cruz, the freshman, the younger brother of the Cruz triplets, is on the kickoff
and he
team.
might be, Spike,
Yeah.
the best cruise out of all the great cruises.
Pretty tough.
That's a lot to carry, but he is a phenomenal athlete.
He's down there on the other side, just outside the hash. All right, we're ready for football here on Kip Kern Field. Coming up short and taken there at the 25-yard line.
Oh,
wow.
Colton Chambers, that was a short kickoff. They want to eliminate as much of the skill and speed that Bryan has. Number 24, Colton Chambers, with an old school smackdown solo tackle. Outstanding start.
Was that by design?
Yes.
Because he averages kickoffs down to the 2.
That was by design, a pooch kick that keeps Bryan's skilled guys in check.
All right, single setback. They're going to keep it. The quarterback chased it out by Landon Cruz, and it'll be about a 5-yard gain up around the 35-yard line. Little option, kept it, and got around the outside. 5 yards for Bryan on first down.
That's called a run-pass option, and Jace Kepler will run a lot of that tonight out of his shotgun.
All right. Double wide out to either side of the field. Ball on the far hash. We're just underway. Captain, do we have the scoreboard?
Yes, we do. Danny is on the scoreboard tonight, so we will have that, but it's always nice to mention it.
All right, motion coming back this way now. They've got 3 wide receivers to the wide side. Sets up, throws over the middle. Caught at the 40-yard line. Brought down quickly. Let's see, that was...
Number 13, Anthony Weber, a freshman, it looks like, in the slot. Good catch. Bryan in a no-huddle hurry-up. They like to run 3 receivers on one side and likes to get an isolation, a single receiver on the other side. We'll see if they go to that early.
All right, Bryan with a first down. No, he's going to keep it. Tries to get around the outside. Tigers there. They swarm to the ball. Chambers got a hand on him when he was up and got some help, but it's about 6 yards on the play for Bryan.
Jace Kepler, a very skilled running back. We talked about his numbers. I mentioned he might be a better runner than thrower, and he has shown it so far. Both runs on first down, very effective. Puts him in a second and short. Excellent playbook. Good staying behind the chains, in front of the chains.
The ball on their own 49. Now he's going to give it to the back. He bellies out, has room, and rambles and pangs forward. And Liberty Center feeling the brunt of this Bryan offense.
And Sam Harold, excellent runner, is physical, ran inside that time, broke some tackles to pick the first down up gain of 6.
All right. Trip receivers to the far side, single setback. And yes, those receivers are big men. Wow. Tigers putting single coverage here. Now linebacker drops off. He'll throw into the flats. That's caught behind the line of scrimmage and hit right there by a host of Tiger tacklers. 4 yards on the play.
Little tunnel screen. That's when the outside receiver comes back, goes backwards to catch a ball. The 2 receivers in front of him block. So they call that a tunnel screen. Yep. Very effectively run for 4 yards.
Cam Colley on that tackle.
Okay.
Number 7, Cam Colley.
All right, so 2nd down and 6. Ball at the Liberty Center 40-yard line. Now motion to the far side. Long count out of the gun.
They moved.
Just like a penalty against Bryan.
Yep.
Little illegal procedure, false start. Bryan was in 2nd and 6. They've done a good job thus far on first down. Good blend of run and pass. As you can see, they like to throw inside the hashes. They like to throw those possession-type routes. You don't see them go vertically a lot. A lot of 3 receiver sets, 3 to one side, 1 to the other. They like to isolate on the top of your screen if you're looking at the video. Good to see Cam Colley out there, one of our top defenders on an outstanding defensive back.
All right, a wide out to either side, a man in the slot on either side with the single setback. They get the play from the sideline, now motion to the far side. Quarterback's going to keep it, running room there, and he's going to pound down in.
And they're not afraid to run him inside, so give Jace a lot of credit. He's not afraid of Liberty Center's defense, and when you're 3 down linemen, and you've got 5 offensive linemen, that's a mismatch in the run game, and they've taken advantage of it.
All right, Straight drop, throws underneath, hit right away, and he's going to be short of the first down.
Great stick.
That'll bring up fourth down now and about 2 to go.
As Cam Colley just explodes on that route. Isolated number 4 there, Gavin Jessing, but he was stopped in his tracks. Great job by Cam Colley.
Yeah, and that's big because he caught the ball, but there were no yards after the catch. Bryan now with the ball on the Tiger 36. They're going to go for it. They need to get to the Tiger. Let's see. They need to get to the 34. Out of the gun. Gives it straight ahead.
No, sir. Good job. Xander. Zider.
Defense holds. Wham, bam.
Xander Zider beat his block. Exactly what you wanted there. He got off his block, got into the legs of number 6, Sam Harold, and then number 8 finished him off for Liberty Center, Landon Cruz. Great job by the Tigers' defensive line.
Yeah,
Excellent.
and Kepler couldn't have kept the ball that time because Tigers were covering him too.
Well, I think they're going to pay a lot of attention to Jace Kepler. Those first 2 runs, watch Liberty's defensive ends and snipers start to lock down on Jace Kepler.
All right, so at the 8-minute mark of the first quarter, Liberty Center with their first possession. They've got it on their own 36. Wide out to the far side.
Chambers lined up at quarterback there.
Yeah. Chambers, wing right set. Play action pass, rolling out, lofts it out there.
Tipped.
Had a man out there. Ball comes up a little short. That'll bring up second down. So the Tigers with a little bit of trickery themselves.
Yeah, that ball was tipped by 52 at the line.
There you go. Okay.
Little play action pass to start the offense. Rolling to your left is a difficult thing to do, and Amstutz really struggled to get the ball out of his hands. He got a Bryan defender in his face. Bryan running 4 and 5 man down linemen, so they're really committing a lot of bodies to the run, Spike.
Okay. All right. Wing on either side. Now motion behind. Little jet sweep coming around the right side to Cruz. Cuts him outside. Great block there by Seth Navarre. Makes another cut. Banging his way forward. Finally hit at the 30. Pounds his way down inside the 25-yard line.
A lot of running room outside the tackle. Tight end there. Great blocking by the offensive line. Very impressive run by Landon Cruz. That's exactly what Liberty's going to be able to do all night to Bryan. Just dominate the offensive line in the line of scrimmage.
Took a couple of hits along the way, spun out of those, regained his balance, goes for 40 yards. First and 10 now at the Bryan 25. Single setback. Now motion this way. That same jet sweeper on the right side. Colton Cruz. And down at the 10. Cuts to his right. Pounds down to the 5-yard line. Pick up a 21 yards.
That's what they call a 34 power right there. You got a guy going right in the 4-hole, led by his brother, number 5, Trent Cruz. Liberty Center really starting to dominate up front. Goose Gieske, great blocking. Number 70, Seth Navarre, great blocking. Liberty Center really controlling the line of scrimmage.
Zach Weaver now checks into the game, number 40. He'll be out there as a tight end over on the right side. Tigers with 2 tights, wing back set to the left. 2 running backs. Now, gives it up the middle, pounding in. It is a Liberty Center Tiger touchdown! Woo, baby! No!
Great.
Liberty Center takes it and pours the punt to him right away. First series.
Great block by tight end Brooks Bainfeld, just blowing guys back 5 and 10 yards. I just feel like watching the film against Patrick Henry and Van Wert, we're going to be able to move a lot of people today. And that drive right there, Liberty Center dominated up front again.
All right, Tigers set to go for the point after touchdown kick. And once again, Ian Rosebrock. Now he is 26 out of 29, over 90%. Phenomenal kicking from Ian. Great job blocking. And Liberty Center scores a touchdown on a drive that took exactly 46 seconds.
Phenomenal job.
Is that it?
Phenomenal job by the offensive line.
What happened to Liberty's ball control?
Yeah.
They keep chomping up big yards.
Well, Patrick Henry last week did a good job against Bryan. Long sustained drives, just wearing Bryan's defensive front down. But Liberty Center is explosive in the run game because of their great offensive line. You saw some phenomenal blocking there up front. Every one of those offensive linemen got into their man, moved, and pushed back. Well, tell you what, a lot of good lead blocking. I was very impressed with Brooks Bainfeld.
Yeah,
also
that's what I was going to say. Brooks Bainfeld, lead block. He got to that second level and was blocking linebackers.
Yeah, you got a good double team there on the nose guard there by number 63, Stephen Brogan, who's just been fantastic all year. This offensive line is firing on all cylinders, Spike.
Yeah. Now, in practice this week, Landon Amstutz ran a lot of play-action roll to his left. This is something they worked on.
We saw that early in the last sequence.
All right, here's the kick. High end over end. That's going to go all the way down to the 3-yard line. Tries to return straight ahead.
Very nice.
Brady Miller.
And Tyler Lay.
Wrapped him up like last week's loaf of bread.
I'll tell you what, that's some fantastic open field tackling and special teams. We talk so much about Max Walker, but man, the tackling, Colton Chambers and Grady Miller, just fantastic solo. It's hard to get a solo tackle on coverage teams, both Liberty Center tackles on those kickoffs.
Yeah.
Solos.
That was like a Louis Miller tackle. Oh, Louis Miller. Second cousin, once removed, but anyway, same difference.
One of the all-time great tacklers, Louis Miller, Liberty Center football history.
Now, all right, Bryan comes out, double wide out to either side. They look to run it up the middle, running room there, a big hole, and they get it up to the 25-yard line. Gain of 10.
Bryan outnumbers Liberty Center in the box, and that's the line of scrimmage. We play 3 down linemen. They've got 5 linemen. So Bryan feels like they can catch a crease, and as hard as Sam Harrell runs, he got himself some yards on a first down.
Okay, same set, double to either side. Quarterback's just going to tuck it under.
Seth Navarre.
He's not going to go far. Maybe a yard on the play. The Tigers close fast.
Yeah, Seth Navarre is a great athlete, and Seth got off his block and got right down the line of scrimmage to make that tackle for a very short gain. Great job, Seth.
All right, that'll bring up, we'll call it a gain of 2, 2nd down and 8. Ball back at the 27-yard line. 6.5 minutes to go here. First quarter. Tigers lead 7-0. All right, trips to the far side. 2-step drop. Looks, throws hard over the middle. That's caught. That's going to be a first down for Bryan. A 7-yard gain up to the 35-yard line.
Bockelman just got drugged down.
Ooh.
They had a hold of his jersey, and he kind of spun off it.
Drew Hahn, senior, one of their top receivers. Again, Spike, you're not seeing Bryan go up top a lot. Liberty Center's pressure is not going to allow Bryan's receivers to get down the field. A lot of throws in the hashes and the slots.
All right, man in motion. Now they try to kick it outside.
There we
Slowed
go.
down in the backfield. Now hit. He's going to be brought down for a yard loss. Back to the 35-yard line. Great team tackling.
Trenton Cruz read that right away and got right into the backfield, and that play was finished by number 24, Colton Cruz. Colton Chambers, great job in the open field finishing that tackle, but that play was made by Trenton Cruz.
Yeah, you made him change direction, and that
held him up a little bit, and then Chambers finished him.
Double wide out to either side. Quarterback rolling right. He's in trouble. Scrambles. Now finally fires up.
There's the pick.
Intercepted at the 45-yard line. It's going to be Liberty Center's football. Who got that?
Thomas. I think it was number 3, Thomas Moeller. Is that true? Is that who? Or number 5? Let's see. That was Thomas Moeller.
It was Thomas Moeller.
Yes, it was.
Tell you what,
my spotter's talking a lot and missing it. Let's go, man.
Bockelman was bearing down on Kepler.
Well, that's Thomas Moeller's second interception. Third? He had one last week. Yep. He had one against Archbold tonight. A huge interception by the sophomore. Great read and great field by Thomas.
Yeah. Now let's remember the guy Bockelman ran him down. He was gaining on the quarterback. So who's got speed? All right.
Well, Bocky's got speed.
Double wide out to this side. Chambers motions over to the right. Out of the gun, Amstutz. He'll fake it over the middle. That's going to be caught at the 35-yard line, I believe, by Chambers. He'll carry a tackler, 2 tacklers, down to the 37.
Wow. Those are great routes for Colton. He gets to get 4 and 6 yards deep, turn, little stick route, catches the ball with his hands. He's excellent inside those hashes.
But that's really a setup for the pump fake and the stop and go.
Yeah.
They'll do. You'll see that. You'll see
talent
that.
Spread out wide to the far side. Double wing set, single setback. Now motion. They're going to give it to that single setback. Powers up the middle all alone. Breaks one tackle there. Hit again. Carries him and bounds and pangs his way all the way down to the 3-yard line. 30 more yards of real estate. And the Liberty Center offensive line is chewing up their meat.
Yeah, that hole was about big enough for 2 Mack trucks to run through. You can't give Trenton Cruz. He's used to running in small spaces and bouncing off defenders. That one, just not much. I think he was shocked, like, whoa. Like a grenade went off, and he had a gigantic hole. Good job. That was a belly down. You got a double team between the tight end and tackle down, and the kick out, boom, wide open. Good run by Trent Cruz.
Colton on the left, Trent on the right. Now motion. They're going to give second back right side. Pounds off one, spins off another, down close to the goal line. He's into the end zone! Cruz into the end zone, and the Liberty Center offensive line continues to make mincemeat of the team on the other side, and the Tigers have gone up now 13-0.
This was kind of exactly what Casey thought he could get done. Liberty's offensive line right there. Tyler Lay with a big block, and nice patience by Colton Cruz to get in the end zone. Very easy running the football tonight, Spike.
Amstutz on the hold. Good snap, good hold. Kick on the way. Ian up and good!
The difference between what we saw from PH last week and Liberty, PH was long, sustained drives. We're getting big chunk plays in the running game because I think our offensive line is outstanding, and we get downfield and make downfield blocks. That's a signature for our offensive line. Nick Miller, Paul Amstutz, Casey Moeller really emphasized downfield blocking, Spike. And once you get by level 2, it's all about those last blocks. And Liberty Center's offensive line, their wide receivers do a phenomenal job blocking downfield.
I think they remember last year at Bryan. What was it, Tyler Lay, 60 yards down the field blocking, you know.
Yeah. All right. So Liberty Center scores quickly again. Still 4:17 left in the first quarter clock. Liberty with a 2-score lead. Boy, and we've got a huge crowd here tonight. Liberty Center stands are jam-packed. Out there in that auxiliary parking lot, they're crammed in there. They're parked along 109, probably all the way to the river. Woohoo! All right. Bryan has 2 men back deep, standing at the 5-yard line. Here's the kick. What a boomer! That's going to be untouched, 2 yards deep into the end zone. Baby! Boom! He does it again. Max Walker, Thunderfoot.
Well, that's one way to neutralize the return game.
Well, that's a great job. Max Walker just has been kicking balls in end zones all year long. Did it a lot last year. Just a great weapon on special teams. Walker can kick the pooch with control, and he can also give you a kick deep into the end zone. Fantastic job by Max Walker.
Okay, third possession for Bryan. A penalty hurt him in the first drive, and then that interception when Bachman was running him down. Okay, third possession from their own 20. Double wide out to either side, single protector back there. He'll keep it. He'll be hit in the backfield, and that's going to be a loss. No, a ball loose on the deck.
It's going to be Liberty Center's
they're going to say he was down, but the Tigers force another yard or 2 loss.
I'll tell you what, Landon Bachman, these defensive linemen are getting off their blocks and getting a lot of penetration. I'll tell you what, that's not what Jace Kepler was hoping for, seeing number 75 in his face within a step of the snap. Great job by Landon. Bryan's offensive line is going to have trouble with our guys up front. Number 64 checks in. Noah Jensen, another high-quality guy playing nose guard.
All right, double wide out, now motion to the Bryan side of the field. Now rolling that way, rolling right, fires a bullet upfield.
Again, Bachman. Oh, no, that's Zider.
Yep.
I tell you, our linemen are able to get in behind the offensive lineman of Bryan and chase Kepler down from the backside, so he's going to be rushed.
Liberty's defensive line is very athletic. They're not big and sloppy and slow. I mean, you saw that from Xander Zider on that 4th down play. Gets off the block and gets penetration for a loss. Great job there by our defensive line again.
All right, minus yardage, 3rd down and 11 for Bryan. Back at their own 19-yard line. 3.5 minutes left here in the first quarter. Double to either side. Quarterback, 2-step drop. Waits, now fires. A hard bullet caught upfield. And
Nice
right
route.
on the money, great hands, and caught across the 35, gain of 15, and it'll be a first down for Bryan.
Gavin Jessing, good hands, 6'3" junior in the slot. Bryan will throw the ball on the hashes. They'll throw those stick routes inside the hashes. There's not a lot of time for those deep routes, those streaks on the number spike. So, our defensive guys have got to kind of understand where that ball's going to go, and it's going to go hot, and it's going to go within 3 seconds of the snap. It's going to go on the hashes, inside those hashes.
Landon Cruz is down on the field. He tried to get up, and the players made him kneel, so he's shaken up on that play.
It's like a lower body injury. Back to the play of our defensive line spike. I think early on, Bryan had some success running Jace Kepler, but I think we've added. You see number 2, Colton Cruz, now putting his hand down, playing just on the outside shoulder of that tight end, and he's done a great job of isolating Jace Kepler and playing Jace. Then that forces Jace to come back to the middle of the field, and there's a bunch of defensive linemen just waiting to greet him there.
That's just a simple invite to Sunday school or something like
sure.
that.
I have been impressed, though, with Sam Harreld. He is a physical runner inside the tackles, and you're going to have to lay a lick and bring some additional jerseys to get him to the ground. So Bryan is capable in the run game, but Liberty Center's countered with 4 down linemen, oftentimes to work on that option.
Thomas Moeller checks in at safety now for Cruz as he, up under his own power, comes off the field.
Yep, it looked like he was in reasonably good shape. Should be back soon. Now motion over here to the wide side. 2-step drop, looks, now scrambles up the middle. Hit right away, pow, wham, bam!
Man.
That's a smackerino!
Trent Cruz is just, he's as good of a reader of keys and reader of plays as you have seen in Liberty Center modern history. That guy not only breaks the play down, but he gets right to the point of attack.
Well,
That's just a fantastic play by Trent Cruz.
He has one of the all-time best linebackers in that, chomping in his ear every day of practice, too, Coach Eric Weimer.
Yeah, oh yeah. All right, now Bryan again runs trip receivers over here to the wide side. Now rolling out, looking, this is a run, and it ain't going nowhere either, baby cakes! Wham, wow, pow!
That's a
75.
Great job. Number 19.
Yep.
Waylon Rentz ran that down from behind.
Spangler.
There was a bunch of dudes on the front side, but 19, Waylon Rentz. Great job, great read. Again, these linebackers are well coached, watching film, breaking these plays down. Excellent job by Liberty's linebackers.
All right, now Liberty Center's defense has forced Bryan into a 3rd and 12 from their own 35-yard line. Drops back, looks, pressure now, coming from behind. There it is!
There's a couple people out there with their shirt off waving at Spike.
Tell you what, that was impressive.
Landon Bockelman, wow, baby, he accelerated, he got close, and then it was boom.
Tell you what, there's just no match for Landon Bockelman inside. You can double, triple, you can edge, you can chip. That guy's a monster. He got on top of Jace in a hurry, and number 5, Trenton Cruz finished him off.
Loss of 7 yards. Now the punt. Fair catch called for by Moeller at his own 43. So Liberty Center withstands another Bryan attack, and now they'll take over with 1:13 to go in the first quarter. Liberty Center on top by 2 scores.
Well, I think you made a great point. Landon Cruz has his hand on the ground now. So Liberty's added that extra force to deal with Kepler trying to RPO out to the side.
You want to keep Kepler in the confines of the pocket, make him run inside, and he's not nearly as effective as he is on the outside or off tackle.
Chambers wing on the right. Landon, a pound up the middle. It was Aiden Talent spread out wide to the far side, but the Tigers powered it right up the middle for 4 yards.
Trent Cruz on that carry.
Okay. We'll call it a gain of 5. So 2nd and 5, the ball at Liberty Center's own 48-yard line.
Liberty Center taking their time, getting chunk plays in the run game, no hurry, and complete control of the offensive line of scrimmage.
Double wing set with a wide out to either side. All alone in the backfield. Amstutz has time, throws underneath, and that ball comes out, hits the deck, That'll bring up 3rd down and 5.
I believe that's the first drop from a Chambers boy since 2012. They don't drop passes. I don't think you'll ever see that again.
He'll have to probably run laps when he gets home.
Wow. I'm going to have to bale some hay because that's the
right.
first. Christian's down here in the crowd shaking his head ready to
get out there and chop some hay and bail it off.
Somebody.
Christian down there,
that's Christian down there with the red beard, and I think Leighton to his right. You got both Chambers boys.
Right. Okay. All right, little power straight up the middle.
There
Cruz
we go.
breaks one. His great field running mobility. Cuts to the right, back to the left, and down all the way to the 30-yard line.
I'm telling you what, I was watching tonight to see how great of a job that Goose Giesge is doing. And I'm telling you,
baby.
The Goose is having a big night blocking. Great job downfield. Got the initial level 1 block and got right downfield. Nick Miller got to be pleased with how Brady Giesge is playing for Liberty Center.
Right. Up downfield blocking, one of the huge keys. All right, now the Tigers shift over. Set up the wing set left. Give second back. Colton Cruz cuts out to the right. Breaks
wide,
to the 1. He's got
open running room
with him.
here.
Back to the
touchdown.
Left, back to the right. Into the end
Wow.
zone.
Wow.
32 yards away. And Liberty Center continues this onslaught. Ram, bam, thank you, bam, boom, boom, boom.
I'll tell you what, when you're a running back and you see number 70 in front of you, 27 yards downfield, that's a really good feeling.
Wow.
Seth Navarre is a great blocker at the line of scrimmage and even better as a good athlete down the field.
Yeah, when you got your big lineman out in front of you, all you got to do is be a little bit patient, and that's exactly what he was on that.
I mean, nothing fancy, Spike, just a lot of domination, physicality, and violence up front. Liberty is just taking care of business at the line of scrimmage.
To hold. Rosebrock kick on the way, drives it right down the heart of the plate again.
Wow.
3 in a row, and with 3 seconds left in the first quarter, Liberty Center doing it like they've been doing it all year, 21-0.
We talked about it in the Swanton Welding pregame show. We talked about what Bryan could do against you, and they came out and did a few good things early in their run game, and they've completed some balls for short gains on the hashes. And they've picked up a couple of first downs. But Liberty Center doing a great job containing the big play and now starting to really account in a much more effective way for Jace Kepler. And they've neutralized Sam Harrell, their 2 biggest weapons. And, again, that's a lot of Matt Bryan and Casey Moeller and the staff just so well prepared. And they got a lot of answers. We've got answers for those players.
This team is very intelligent. They get coached up pretty hard during the week, but they learn it. They accept it. And they take that into themselves as a second nature. So we've seen the adjustments from the first series till now, and the Tigers dominating.
Casey Moeller and his coaching staff, outstanding at game planning and adjusting, and they've done it.
Garber, one of the special teamers, high end over end. That's going to hit at the 1, go into the end zone, touchback, and Bryan will have the ball to 20 with 3 seconds left.
21-0, and just calling their shot in the run game. And now you're going to start to see some of the 2 deeps, a little bit like what you saw last week at Swan. I did not think we would be into the 2 deeps in quarter 1, but Liberty Center firing on all cylinders on the offensive and defensive lines right now.
Yeah, and I think we'll see Liberty's varsity continue to get reps,
you got a big game next week, brother.
That's
Homecoming,
right.
And the Patrick Henry Patriots come calling. And that game has been circled. You know, I think Patrick Henry is 18-10 against us since 2000. And I think we want to get a bunch back here.
All right, out of the gun, straight drop. Throws out there, lobs high, and great timing. Grady Miller, you could almost see him laying back, timing the play, and knocked him down, or knocked him off his feet, pretty much, when the ball arrived.
It was great.
No gain.
Great timing by Grady there, and that ball hung in the air, but Grady broke it up. Liberty Center 21-0, dominating.
Okay, while we got a break in the quarters here, we are very grateful for the sponsors we've got and the support that we get from them. The Gerald Grain Center's a farmer-owned cooperative, 9 locations in Northwest Ohio, one right in downtown Liberty Center. Pisanello's Pizza, that great family restaurant, subs, pizza, wings, salads, and a great buffet all the time right there in Liberty Center. Pam and Dick Leatherman and their tremendous support of our Tiger Sports Live. Swan Welding, they've been providing their customers with the highest quality services in metal fabrication since 1956. The Davis Farm Services, that family-owned agronomy business, serving Northwest Ohio farmers for 50 years right here in Liberty Center. And Delta, 3-chord, sign it, sew it, screen it, promote it. Affinity IT Group, managed services, cybersecurity for all your corporate needs. STN Design, your home for custom screen printing and embroidery. The Meyer Badenhop Insurance Company, since 1933, Northwest Ohio has been the home of the Meyer Badenhop Insurance Agency. And last but not least, Mr. Kyle Kearney, KK Collision, the leader in automotive repair for 27 years.
Spike a quick score. Wasion 7-0 over Patrick Henry on a pick six. Wasion has won 8 of the last 10 against Patrick Henry.
All right, so from the 20-yard line, start of the second period, trip receivers over here, great pass rush. They set up a screen, ball loose on the deck. I don't know if they're going to rule he caught it.
He did. That was
a fumble?
That was a middle screen, but I'm telling you what, Jace Kepler had number 5 up in his face. Trenton Cruz laid a lick. He started at like the 13 and got drilled back into the 4-yard line.
And Waylon Rentz almost caught that.
That was not exactly advisable.
All right, 3rd down and 4. Back to throw. Has to lob it high. What a job!
Cam Colley.
Wow!
I'm going to tell you what. Is that Cam Colley? I think Cam Colley was in line for yet another pick six. He just baited that throw. He sat there and then jumped it, and it went through his hands.
Oh, yeah.
That was going to be 6, Spike. That was wide open had he gotten that in his hands.
But what great timing.
Yes.
He sat on it, he waited, and then that was sweet stuff.
Jace Kepler trying to make that throw from basically the left hash all the way across the field. Liberty Center defensive backs licking their chops, man, for that opportunity.
All right. Standing at their 45, high, end over end. That's going to come to the sideline and go out of bounds right there.
Yeah. Cam Colley was back receiving that punt. He had an explosive touchdown, I think, against Archbold. A big play against Archbold in the special teams game. So, man, oh man, if I'm a Bryan defensive lineman, I am not excited to have to deal with Liberty Center and their offense here. Early in the second quarter, Liberty Center just dominating the line of scrimmage right now. Something we thought we could do, but this is a little bit more than what I anticipated.
All right, now the Tigers send Cam Colley and Aiden Talent wide to the far side. Double wing package with the tight end, single setback.
Reverse.
Now a little reverse given off.
Oh, man.
Chambers cuts it back across the green, makes another great move, bangs his way inside the 40, down near the 35-yard line.
Number 20
yards.
Brooks Bainfeld with a big lead block. I mean, just a pancake block. I'm telling you, it's good blocking, Spike, but it's just winning the battle of the hitting. Snap after snap, Liberty is just unloading on these Bryan defenders. Wow.
All right. Landon Cruz spreads far to that side. Now the Tigers show a trip receiver set over here to the left side. Back by himself. Has time. Throws over the middle. And it's caught. What a catch! That a magnificent grab. Yanking it away from the defender. Landon Cruz, I believe.
It was Landon. And Aiden Schellenberger was step for step, but basically the senior Landon just tougher on that route, went up and got it, wrestled the ball away. What a great throw by Landon and a great catch by Landon.
Yes, 2 hands, Charlie. Baby doll. That wasn't getting away. 10:40 clock running. Liberty Center now 1st and 10 at the 15 of Bryan. Now Chambers motion. They're going to run that sweep to Chambers right side. He's hit and pounds his way down inside the 10 down to the 8.
Good tackle by Damian Wolf, number 44, but Chambers on a toss sweep, a 6 sweep, like a 26 sweep off the end, and he made a nice cut, ran to daylight for 6 yards. I love it when we get the wing involved in the run game, Spike.
Oh, yeah. It keeps the other team guessing.
Yeah, who is going to get the ball next?
Weapon
you
coming
got it.
at them.
You nailed it right there. Great run. Good job by the offensive line. You're going to hear that a lot tonight. We probably need to stop saying it. Good job by the offensive line. Good night.
All right. Amstutz back out of the gun. He's got double setback. Give to the second back. Right side. Throws a straight cut. Makes a cut inside. Follows a block. Spins off another. Pounds his way down. It's close. He's into the end zone. What a run. Pounding, driving, twisting, spinning. The whirling dervish with power into the end zone. And the Tigers go up 27-0.
Colton Cruz. That was one of the few times that Bryan had multiple hats on the ball. But Colton Cruz kept the feet going, running the feet, spinning, driving, got behind his shoulder pads, and then finished that 1.5 yards. That was impressive by Colton Cruz.
Hard-hitting sweetness. Here's the kick. It looks pretty darn good to me. And the referees, yes! 28-0.
Man, that run game is on point tonight. And we're talking about the offensive line, but give credit to Colton Cruz there. He just was not going to be denied. Rex Linger would talk about when you smell the goal line, man, you better finish a run, or the next day in film sessions you're going to be embarrassed. Colton Cruz ain't going to get embarrassed. He finished that run in a big way.
Would it be fair to talk about Trent and Colton in terms of being running back goats in being able from 2 yards of penetration into the secondary for the next 12 yards? These guys have more moves, more cuts, and more power than anybody I can remember for a while.
Well, Liberty's always had great fullbacks, and you can list 24 of them over the years. In the Rex Lindgren era, the fullback was the primary runner. There's always been good halfbacks too, but these guys here are a 1-2 punch, and they are hammers. And they also are great in the open field and have just enough burst. After they get to that second and third level, they can see the goal line. They can see, the open field, and they read and run with their blockers. They run like real seasoned veterans. Remember Kerry Crew? Kerry Crew used to put his hand on the belt of his guard, and I mean he would follow that guard, and he was such a slithery. He would motorboat through. These kids run a lot like Kerry Crew with a little bit more burst.
All right, down to the 8-yard line. Now cuts back to his left. Has a little bit of a seam, but the Tigers close fast, and they'll hold him up with a return to the 25-yard line only. So a good job.
I thought we were going to get a push in the back by the Bryan Golden Bears. Referee was standing right there. He grabbed his flag, and then he just moved forward.
Well, I'm going to tell you, Paul Amstutz, who runs these special teams, not going to be super happy there with Tyler Lay. Tyler did a great job, had a wide-open shot, needed to kind of gear that thing down and make an open field tackle, but Liberty, again, pins Bryan inside the 35.
All right. As usual, standing back in the gun. He's got a double wide out to either side with the ball at the middle of the field on the 26. Handoff, running around the left side, pins off the tackle. Liberty Center now flowing to the ball, and they're going to hold that to maybe 3 yards at the most.
Well, Sam Harold is their running back, their primary runner, and I'm telling you, Sam is hard to bring down with just an arm tackle. Stephen Brogan had some arms on him. I think that Seth Navarre had some arms on him, but at the end of the day, he was able to break through those. So Sam Harold takes a little bit more effort to bring to the ground.
Yeah. He gained 4. That was a tough 4 right into the Tigers.
Waylon Rentz was in on the tackle. So.
All right, now motion to the wide side. They're going to give it to that guy. Look,
great job. That was now Stephen Brogan.
A loss of about 4 yards on the play. Where did all that orange and black onslaught come from?
Outside linebacker Stephen Brogan. That time got off of his block. It was a great read on that jet sweep, and he pounded the running back for a tackle for loss or a 0 gain. Great job by Stephen Brogan. He has actually been an outstanding linebacker. With that core of linebackers have been great. That 2 deep Stephen Brogan work has been phenomenal this year.
All right, now Brogan on us.
There we go. Brogan again.
Back.
Whoa.
And it is Signorino! Brogan, I believe, initiated. He was coming on the blitz, and as soon as the quarterback had to make an adjustment, there was the gorilla grabbing and slamming him down.
And the first person Landon Bockelman saw it out was Brogan because he knew.
Stephen Brogan made that play all the way. Jace Kepler had to protect the football, and here comes number 75, and you cannot keep 75 out of the backfield for more than 3 seconds.
4th and 17, line drive taken there at the 45-yard line. Talent, I believe.
No, it is not. It's Moeller.
Moeller, that was Moeller.
Thomas
okay.
Moeller.
Yep.
Moeller returns it all the way down to the 31-yard line.
And that was a point of emphasis last year for Casey, was to catch the ball and advance the ball. And I know that there's been, I think, one instance where I think his son, Thomas Moeller, let a ball drop, but he was really happy. He went up and caught that ball. He got some positive yards. Liberty in business at the 31 of Bryan.
Tigers very, very good at punt return yardage. Very quick, very explosive. Now they've got a 1st and 10 at the Bryan 31, 7:43 here in the second quarter. Now back to throw, play action. Lofts it up there. Got a man open out there. Caught by Cruz. Cruz at the 5 makes a cut. The ball knocked out, but he went down, grabbed it. Ball is going to be at the 9-yard line, but Colton Cruz ran a terrific route, came back, got the ball, and the Tigers with a 1st and goal.
Yeah, Colton Cruz saw the end zone but forgot to secure the football. He had made a couple Bryan Golden Bears miss.
Yes.
He had a lane to finish and fumbled it. But, hey, Liberty is on the 9-yard line, back in business here.
Okay, 1st and goal at the 9. They're going to send Aiden Talent wide to the far side, running out of the kind of an I formation now. Give to the second. No, first back up there. Bounce forward, down to the 3.
Little 0-1 trap that plays to the right side of the center. Trenton Cruz runs that 0-1 out of the fullback spot. It's a age-old play by Liberty Center. Great gain of 6 yards and got him at the 3-yard line, Spike.
2nd and goal now. Ball at the 3-yard line of Bryan. 28-0, Liberty Center. Their offense has totally dominated the flow of the game so far. All right, now the Tigers are going to show double wide out to the far side with the tight end over there. Out of the gun. Here's Amstutz rolling out. Lofts for the backside and caught. It's a Liberty Center touchdown.
Great job by Amstutz. He rolls gently to his right. Landon took his time, very patient, and found Landon Cruz in the back of the end zone. Great job by Liberty Center's offense inside the 5. Landon Amstutz, really nice poise, and put a nice touch pass, easy to catch.
And Landon looked like he was kind of running a little drag, It wasn't like
back
he was
of the end zone.
Out of a sprint.
He had a receiver in front of him too, and so the defender was in no man's land.
Well, I think Landon Amstutz just being real patient, real senior-like. He knew what he had in the back of the end zone and put a nice soft touch pass right on the hands of Landon Cruz for a 35-0 lead for Liberty Center.
6.5 minutes to go in the second quarter, 35-0, and I like what I'm seeing. Obviously, the Tigers are having their way on offense, but it's in the manner they're doing it. They're mixing up a lot of great run possibilities here, but they're mixing in the throw. They're giving people down the road something to look at, something to think about, something. How are we going to defend all of that?
I think in the Swan Welding pregame, Spike, you talked about the number of attempts that Landon Amstutz had, which I think it was somewhere in the vicinity of 28 to 30 passes attempted in 5 games. You said 7 or 8 attempts a game, something like that. Well, you're obviously, if you're going to run 45, 50 plays, you're running the football 75% of the time, which is our identity because our offensive line is so phenomenal. But you're exactly right. You nailed it. They're putting some passing plays on film for the future opponents like Patrick Henry to say, ooh, Liberty might be a little bit more balanced than we think.
Yeah. All right, here we go. Walker sends a line drive, and that's going to go all the way back to the goal. I know they're going to say he went into the end zone. His momentum actually took him into that orange territory. So, Bryan will take over again at their own 20-yard line.
And guys,
one early return.
The coverage team was disappointed.
They
were ready to hit somebody.
Well, I don't know. They wanted to hit somebody, but Max Walker putting yet another ball in the end zone. And Coach Russell, we don't talk enough about Tom Russell, and we're going to have a breakdown with Tom Russell sooner or later.
We are, yep.
And I think, Max Walker has a lot of thank yous for Tom Russell. He's done a great job coaching him.
Max Walker now into the game. Bryan runs a little power off the right side. That'll be good for about 4.
Again, you're starting to see Liberty working those two deeps a little bit. Max Walker in that snap at linebacker.
Garrettson Cruz now being called over to the coach. We'll see what happens here.
All right, handoff up the middle, and the Tigers swarmed to that one. There might have got a couple on the play, and that's it.
Yep. Waylon Rentz, again, these linebackers are really reading well, but Waylon missed the tackle initially, but Liberty Center's defense swarmed for basically no gain.
And Liberty platooning the defensive line here, which has been a big thing for Liberty Center. The numbers,
the depth is
the depth and the talent at that depth.
And Nick Miller's got a lot of buttons to push, here, and he's doing it.
Okay, 5.5 minutes, 3rd and 3 for Bryan. They're going to try to pound it. No, quarterback keeps it rolling right, has a little bit of running room, gets out of bounds, but converts the first down up around the 33.
Well, you saw exactly what makes Jace Kepler so dangerous is he's got breakaway speed. And I know that was a really difficult play to defend. Waylon Rentz is on his high horse, but Jace Kepler just a little bit more athletic and fast, got to the perimeter and got the first down for Bryan.
Guys, you're watching the play. I'm watching the silence. Trenton Cruz is out there yelling at somebody. Hey, he's coaching them. Hey, go around, make a loop, go around.
Yeah. Okay, now rolling now to his right. Foregoes the short pass, in trouble, and he's going to be rammed out of bounds.
Number 50.
That's Max Walker. Came across, ran him down in a foot race, held him to a 2-yard gain.
He did. Good job by Max Walker playing sideline to sideline. But the play, again, you got tackles and you got plays. Oh. The play was made there by number 33, Xander Zeider again, just having another great night on the defensive line. Stephen Brogan here at linebacker playing the will. Waylon Rentz and the mic. Colton Cruz up top at the Sam.
Here's the snap. They give it on a little bit of a sweep, cuts it up, pounds forward up to the 35-yard line. A couple on the yards on the play.
Well, and wasn't Harold averaging 10 yards a carry?
Last week, 9 carries for $109, but that play was made by number 70, Seth Navarre, again, chasing down from behind. Seth Navarre is just another kind of athlete. He's not your standard defensive lineman. He can run, he can jump, he's explosive. He has made some plays tonight running guys down from behind.
In this new age offense where it's a lot of like 8-man football, a lot of throwing and running, hit there. Oh, wow.
Yeah,
that was a pressure. Stephen Brogan.
We used to call that a bum rush.
I'll tell you what, that's a jailbreak.
Yeah, jailbreak.
In the old days where you were rushing eight guys. And I'll tell you, that's been the key, I think, has really unsettled Jace Kepler, has been the pressure that Liberty got early on. Bryan outnumbered Liberty in the line of scrimmage and was able to get some first downs and time throwing the football. Well, Matt Bryan's made the adjustment, brought some heat, and I think Jace Kepler's been on the run ever since.
So Thomas Moeller and Cam Colley back for the Tigers.
Brogan just dynamite on that defense. All right, back to punt.
That's a good-looking punt
High end over end. That's going to come down at the 35-yard line. Makes
Cam Colley. Here we go. He might go. Cam Colley.
Cam Colley all alone.
That's going to be a touchdown.
What a horde of Liberty Center blockers on the way down.
Oh, man.
And a kick out move. Broke a tackle. Cut to the outside. And another great upfield block around the 40-yard line.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a flag on Bryan. I think number 11 decided to take a shot at it.
That must have been late because Cam Colley catches the ball basically on the hash closest to the press box. Bryan reacts to that little stutter step and then immediately puts his right foot in the ground spike, gets to the sideline, the Liberty sideline, and then is shot out of a gun to go the distance. Cam Colley, I'm telling you, that is one heck of a football
2 yards, I believe, on the punt return.
He now has 2 punt returns and 2 pick sixes.
Man, oh man, that guy is explosive. Do not let him get in the open field. He will make you pay the price. Cam Colley, phenomenal. Wow.
All right, we got Spangler the snapper, Amstutz the holder, and Ian Money in the Bank. Rosebrock, the kick is up. All the snap was good. The hold was good. It's good. 42-0. 42-0. Liberty Center with 4:10 left, just pouring it on with execution extraordinaire.
Well, and Walker may get a through the uprights kickoff again, Spike. That was a personal foul on number 11. I think that's
there's some frustration.
Jacob Uran.
There's some frustration on the Bryan sidelines. I think that Coach Redhead felt that they could come in here and execute some things on offense, but man, oh man, he ran into a buzzsaw tonight, Liberty Center, just playing at a level that I don't think that even against Van Wert, they're feeling a Liberty Center team. I don't think that they anticipated. This is getting ugly and something that maybe I wasn't thinking about. I thought maybe they'd get to it in the second half, but Spike, the Liberty Center's offense has gotten right to it here in the first half.
I'm astounded. I didn't figure this. I mean, I knew it was possible, but I also thought it was possible that Bryan could end up scoring 3 times or so.
Yeah.
Patrick Henry up 8-7, but Wasion driving on the PH20.
Yep, and Tenora leads Wayne Trace 14-0.
I picked in the end zone militia the upset special of Tenora beating Wayne Trace.
Late in the second quarter.
Mark that down.
All right, Buck. All right, here's the kick. It's got height. It comes down at the 7-yard line. Now return at an angle right to midfield and under a host of Tiger tacklers.
Guess who?
Number 30,
Garrison
Cruz.
Kidding me?
Let me tell you what.
Garrison Cruz.
Let me tell you what I liked about that, Spike. That time, unlike 2 snaps ago, what I saw right there was Liberty breaking down and making a great tackle. I mean, just a phenomenal tackle, a group tackle where they didn't overcommit to anything. They broke down and got their hands around that running back, got him to the ground.
Oh, that's the best way to go. All right, so Bryan now, double wide out to either side. Quarterback just sets up, throws the ball up, and nearly picked off.
Hammontree almost had
Noah
it.
Hammontree had real estate in front.
I think that might have been the issue.
Yeah. Tigers shift into a little more wide open type of defense here. Bryan incomplete, 2nd and 10 at their own 18-yard line. 4 minutes left in the second. Drops back, has to scramble out of there. Here come the Tigers up.
There you go.
Sail out of bounds.
Some alligator arms. I think he sensed some Tigers there ready to lay a lick. The wide receiver had it for a first down and decided to make a business decision and let that thing fall to the turf. Maybe a smart move. Here's the problem with Bryan passing the football. The clock stops. Yeah. Okay, that's a problem. And I think we're going to get to a running clock in the second half at some point. But the fact is, Liberty's offense is going to get at least one more crack at this thing. And, oh, by the way, Liberty gets the kickoff in the second half. Not a great spot for the Bryan Golden Bears right now.
Quickly, Napoleon over Fremont Ross, 20-0.
Wow.
Noah Jensen getting in
and
the quarterback.
Tries to scramble, gets out of there, breaks through a tackle, still going, hit hard, and that'll knock him down. Great, terrific blow delivered by Colton Cruz.
I'll tell you what, though, I think Jace Kepler, that might have been his best play of the night.
Yeah.
He escaped minimum 4 Liberty Center tacklers to get back to the line of scrimmage, maybe get a yard, but man, oh man.
He's going over there awful slow.
Yeah, Colton Cruz, he is slow, right? Jace Kepler is not enjoying his evening tonight, and that one right there, I think Colton Cruz gave him a great shot, brought him to the ground, but that was a hammer.
Another great field position here for Liberty Center. Their receivers are back here on the basically the 50-yard line.
All right, high snap pulled in, high floater, and fair catch called for, and that one's going to
catch the ball.
And that's where Casey Moeller.
15-yard bounce.
That was a good punt, though, Spike. I mean, really, that was one of the better offensive plays Bryan's had tonight here.
20-yard difference, though, if he'd have caught it. Fair catch.
He's got to fair catch it. He's got the room to do it, and he did not, and we lost about 18 to 20 yards on that exchange. So, something we talked about, catch the football and keep the ball within striking distance, but again, that's lesson learned.
What is really striking distance for the Tiger offense?
Mm-hmm. next week and in the playoffs, it'll be a lot different.
I want to clean that up, but still, Liberty Center's struck from 80 out, 90 out.
Well, Liberty is not going to be judged on this game or last week. They're going to be judged on next week and as they get to Waseon and some of these games in front of them.
All right, Tigers going to run a power right up the middle, and that's going to go for a yard or two.
Ball was
I think that was
fumbled.
Waylon Rentz. Yep. And Liberty interchanging players right now with a 42-0 lead here.
Senior Landon Smith, number 54, into the lineup for Liberty.
Not a good exchange from Amstutz to Waylon Rentz. That was a belly down and had a lot of room in front of him. He could have just, I think you're right, sometimes those running backs, Mark, and receivers start looking downfield instead of securing that
Thomas
football.
Moeller might be behind
All right,
Rentz.
now out of the eye. Give to the second back off the right side.
Good
Breaks
cut.
the tackle. Slips another one. Cuts to the
Thomas
outside.
Moeller.
He's
Oh, we
got
got a
running
penalty
room.
flag
Down
right
the
there.
sideline. Good downfield block. Thomas Moeller at the 20. He's at the 10. The last man beat. It's over.
Yep.
It's another Liberty
They're gonna
Center
bring that
Tiger
back.
touchdown.
Spike, I think they're gonna bring it.
76 yards.
I think they're
this
gonna bring it back.
Yep, I think there was a block in the back or a hold. Let's see what
no.
Oh,
No good, dirty, rotten,
yeah,
stinking.
no dirty, rotten. Oh, yellow flag comes flying.
Yep.
Those
holding. Yep. Thomas showing some great feet, great vision there. He's really good.
Yeah.
He is really good inside runner. I mean, guy gets great feet, keeps it short and quick.
Well, and
Jump cut.
Landon Cruz ran step
Man, oh,
for
man.
step with him to block for him down there.
Well, Landon needed to look back and block behind because Thomas did a great job of getting a lead on that, and he was gone. Great job by Thomas, but unfortunately, holding brings that play back.
The defensive end, you ran here, number 11, thought he was going to catch him.
Now that is a spot foul. The ball actually
Yes.
went from 2nd and 10. Now they're at 2nd and 6.
But
Okay. Amstutz under center. Out of the eye again. Give to the second back off that right side. That time Bryan closed fast, and they'll hold that to a couple of yards.
Good tackle there by Damian Wolf. He's one of their better linebackers. Same exact play. They went right back to the well. Thomas was just getting going, and then Wolf makes the tackle a couple yards downfield, but gain of 3. But I'll tell you what, Thomas Moeller has shown a little shiftiness, creativity, and he knows he runs the daylight, man. I'll tell you, I like the way he cuts and the way he reads holes.
coming up at halftime here, we will cover the bands, so stay tuned for the band's halftime show.
Hamster comes out here, pitch deep,
Waylon
cutting it
Rentz.
up there with the running room now, cuts to the outside
He
at the
could be
45.
gone. Here we go.
He's got everybody beat.
Waylon Rentz.
Wait.
Diesel. Oh, a
Into
little.
the end zone. It's a Liberty Center
Oh, my goodness.
65-yard touchdown burst. The onslaught continues.
Man, oh man, when you get number 19 in the open field, he got a little extra burst, and he gave a little neon Dion, I think, a little prime time down by the 10-yard line and got in the end zone. Gosh, Mark, you're right. What is the strike zone for Liberty Center? It's been anywhere on the field tonight. My goodness.
Give me the ball, I can strike.
Wow. Run game.
That
Piling up
downfield
yards.
running and blocking just continues to wreak havoc over the Golden Bears. 49-0. Ian Rosebrook etching one of those senior type games. Well, he's not a senior either, excuse me. 7 for 7 in the kicking column, and the Tigers 49-0. 1 minute left in this second quarter.
And guys, what do you tell your players if you're Bryan at halftime? I mean, what are you going to adjust? You came in thinking, okay, we've got an explosive offense.
Yeah.
We can handle the rush. We can manage the line. It's 5-on-3. Liberty Center made adjustments after that first series. What can you adjust, Scott? You coached, What do you tell kids at this point?
Well, Liberty Center's going to run the football. And you've got, as a defensive coordinator, you've got to really get more focused on dedicating more hats to the football. And it looks to me like Bryan is just playing this thing straight vanilla with a 5-man defensive line. And going against Liberty's run game and their offensive line. I mean, Liberty Center has one of the top offensive lines in the state in Division 5, Spike.
Yes.
You are not going to go man-on-man there. So, to me, I'm bringing safeties down in the box, and I'm going to try to outnumber Liberty Center in this run game, and there's just been no answer because the minute they get past level 1, it is absolute bananas, wide open running.
It's a horse race to the sideline in the glory land.
Kenton leads Defiance 12-8.
Grandma Jean Kern, how do you like your Tiger football? Kickoff down to the 7-yard line. Return at an angle for
there's
the
a
far
push in the
hash.
back.
Yep. Blocking the back. I don't think they got
no
it
flag.
called.
Wow.
But the Tigers hold sway. They hold court down there around the 20. Flush that down right away.
Hey. Thomas Bowler on a very good open field tackle. I love the way Liberty is tackling in the open field. They're really doing a good job of being crisp, clean, and finishing tackles on special teams.
Well, and we talked about that with the defenders with no yards after catch. Hey, one game I'm following, Marion Local and Versailles tied at 7 at
I got Versailles in that game to break the 32-game win streak. The Enzo Militia is going to owe me a pizza if I get these games right.
All right, give straight up the middle, tripped up just across the line of scrimmage, fell forward for about
51.
3.
Well, I think Bryan has conceded they need this clock to run, and they got to regroup at 49-0. Everything has worked for Liberty Center. I mean, it's just an onslaught of Liberty offense. Their offensive line has dominated this game.
Clayton O'Neill in there and helps slow him down. Still pounding and driving. Finally shoved out of bounds by Hammondtree.
And Waylon Rentz is going to get a penalty for a little extra curricular. But I'll tell you what, that was a heck of a run by number 6, Sam Harold. He would not go down. Casey Moeller is going to bring him to the sidelines. And give him
he'll come out and get a little coaching up.
Well, obviously, he's trying to bring Sam Harold down. Sam Harold was not going to be brought down, and that was not something that was a cheap shot. He just stayed on him a little bit too long.
Did your temper ever flare?
I was a very passive player.
I thought maybe you were.
I was very sportsmanlike. A lot of
squeaky clean. Scott Barrett.
I don't know that I ever had a 15-yard penalty. Wait, I think I had a lot of them.
Yeah, wait a minute. I think we've got film on that, maybe. I don't know.
Don't bring Rex Lingard up here and talk about 15-yard penalties.
That's right.
And by the way, just so you know, Waylon Rentz is brought off the field, and that's how Casey does it. You make a mistake of that magnitude, you're coming off the field.
Lobs upfield, caught.
Now
fumbles the ball.
He got it back. Oh, Liberty had the ball.
I think we got a flag up here.
Yeah, we got a flag away from the play totally.
Oh, man.
That 51 held.
Might be a holding ball.
But Colton, that play was going to go, and that was going to be Colton Cruz on a fumble recovery. Bryan did a good job. Bryan receiver caught the ball with his hands, but then as he made a move up the field, he fumbles it. But Colton Cruz right there.
Did they call it a non-catch?
I don't think so.
They didn't. They didn't move the marker, and they picked the ball up. So it's got to be an incomplete pass.
Oh, there's a flag.
Maybe was he
illegal man downfield for Bryan?
Yeah, 51 was all the way downfield.
51 might want to focus on blocking for his quarterback.
And isn't an illegal man downfield a loss of down, too?
It is.
So that'll be a 5-yard or plus loss of down.
Adam Lance down the field. If I'm a Bryan offensive lineman, I'm going to stay and create a pocket for Jace. I'm not going to be running around.
All right, with 15 seconds now, perhaps Bryan's last play out of the gun. 2-step drop, waits. Now flushed. Now has to roll out of there. Tigers give chase.
This is where he's real good.
He cuts the field at the 50-yard line. He'll go out of bounds down around the 40.
Time, 4 seconds.
Chase Kepler, we talked about keeping him in the pocket. When he can contain Spike, he's as good of an open field runner as you're going to see in this league, and he just burned us for a big gain right there. He's a heck of an athlete. Keep him in the pocket, pressure him, and push him back. That's where he struggles, but you get him outside the pocket, Spike, he's very good.
We saw evidence there. All right, time for one more play.
Yep. Liberty Center's Backelman's back in now. Zeider's in on the line. Jensen, 3 down linemen.
Snap, straight back.
Oh, Xander Snyder. Oh, had him down.
Still on his feet. Looks upfield. Throws the home run ball up there, and it's going to be knocked away. Incomplete. That'll end the first half. It's been all Liberty Center dominating the first half. They lead it. They'll take it into the locker room. That 49-0 lead over the Bryan Golden Bear.
All right, stay with us. We'll be having the bands for halftime, and we'll be back after this halftime break.
Such a powerful tool in the world of visual entertainment. For example, when in 1982 legend Rocky Balboa has to face death and hardship in his personal life, things change with the help of this song. Give him Rocky overcome his demons, re-enters the ring and reclaims his title. The right marching band has been training hard, but knows that it's the eye of the tiger. It's the thrill of the fight. As they open fight the survivors modern rock classic, Eye of the Tiger. We continue our visual entertainment show with the chart Smoke on the Water. That chronicles the 1971 fire at the Montreux Casino. Smoke the fire with lingering light inspired deep rhythm brass song about it. We might not know the story, but we know the song is famous. The car rip. Overtime is here in Jack Flex. And it's been sung by Homer Simpson. Here is the Bryan marching band playing the Burn the Place Down. The they play Deep Purple's 1972 hit, Smoke on the Water. By Albert Varsity, the movie opened in October 1960. Besides the movie, the theme has been used in numerous other movies, TV shows, and has been covered just a few times too. Here is the Bryan Marching Band over their closer, the theme to the Magnificent Seven.
As Lawrence Wolf would say, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. And we got a show for you. Please join me in welcoming the field marching pride of Tiger Country, the Liberty Step Tiger Marching Band. It is led this year by our drum major, Reese Kessler, and our band captain, Vivian Gilbert. Tonight, the band is ready to take course to Milan in the name of justice. The great R Superhero Show. You'll visit 3 separate super universes, starting with the world of Marvel. Captain America, Iron Man, Thor, Black Widow, Hawkeye, and more. The band's first song is the theme to the Avengers. Our own superhero and drum major, Reese Kessler. Is your band ready? Ladies and gentlemen, your Liberty Center Marching Band. Our second song comes from the world of Pixar, featuring a whole band of superheroes. You need your help to find the playoff team fulfilling syndrome with the theme to The Incredibles. Field. Batman, Gotham City is in distress. For our final song, we visit the universe of DC Comics. The bat signals in the sky. Commissioner Gordon is on the phone. Who's going to save us from the Penguin, Riddler, and the Joker? Maybe it could be to the Batcave, Wow. It's the Batman theme.
All right, we're back at halftime here from Rex Lindgren Stadium, Kip Kern Field. The Liberty Center Tigers on an onslaught, 49-0 over the Bryan Golden Bears. Scott, the stats have to tell this story.
Well, I don't know where to start or where to finish, but there's not a statistic to encapsulate how dominating the offensive line has been. I wish there was a Pro Football Focus type number that we could go to. But if you're watching this game or just listening to this game, Liberty Center's offensive line and their defensive line, quite frankly, the line of scrimmage, they have dominated. So the teams have not entered the field yet here with 2 minutes and 20 seconds to go. But a couple numbers that really tell you the game story. First downs, Liberty Center has 12, Bryan has 8. That first drive, Bryan did a really good job of moving the football and running the football as Jace Kepler and Sam Harold together combined for 8 first downs, and Bryan looked like they could establish something on the ground. Well, that quickly was taken away as Liberty Center then began to dominate. The rushing tonight, Liberty Center ran for 275 yards in the first half. That is off the charts, folks, and this is even more mind-numbing. They're averaging 17 yards per carry. 17 yards per carry. So, and you've seen a lot of breakaways tonight. Offensive line getting downfield. Liberty Center just doing a great job with downfield blocking. Bryan, 24 rushes for 62 yards. That's a little bit more than 2.5 yards a rush. So you go from Liberty's 16 rushes for 275 and 17 yards per rush to Bryan's 24 attempts at 62 yards at 2.5 yards per rush. That is dominance in the rushing game. Colton Cruz, 6 rushes for 124 yards. He is averaging 21 yards a touch. And again, if you're watching this game, you know, the offensive line's blowing Armageddon-type holes, but he is also finishing runs and avoiding tackles. It's impressive what Colton has done tonight. Actually, all the Liberty Center runners have been great, but Colton Cruz, 6 for 124, averaging 21 yards a rush. Tackles, Waylon Rentz with 7. Landon Cruz with 6. Waylon's having a great game. He missed a couple tackles. He might have been double-digit tackles before the half. And in passing, where we thought Bryan would have a distinct advantage, Gabe Kepler is 13 of 24 for 48 yards.
48?
24 yards rushing, 48 yards throwing. Landon Amstutz in a very casual, patient senior performance, 4 for 6 for 53 yards. And just like Spike said, Mark, Casey's doing a brilliant job of putting a few wrinkles on film.
Right.
Early in the season, you kind of hold back the playbook. Later in the season, you want to start putting some things on film that other teams have to prepare for, opening up your basic playbook.
Right, and we've talked, as I said, I love our Wednesday morning, I get to have my coffee and watch two football minds go back and forwards and little X's and O's go over the air, and I wish I somehow could get that on camera, but I can't. But, Casey talked a little bit about that, of saying, hey, you got, everybody knows who you are. Everybody knows Liberty Center's going to run the ball. Everybody knows, here we come. We're big up front, both sides of the ball. You got to beat us, But I do like, he talked about having those first 10 plays scripted, and that's really where I think he says, hey, check this out. Hey, check this out. Hey, if you're watching film, now what if we do this against you? So, as you said, it really gets them into this, we know what Liberty's going to do. Oh, wait a minute.
Mark, I actually think that Landon Amstutz is, I want to say, secret weapon. But he is a weapon that we really haven't had to bring out and utilize. And I'll tell you, talking to Casey, and you were there in the preseason, we did a lot of conversations about Landon Amstutz did such a good job for preparing Liberty Center for the playoff run last year, in particular for Elmwood.
He was torching the team on the scout team.
He was taking apart a top-level defense, in scout team as a junior. So Landon has just done a really good job, I think, in this season, playing within the system. He's a complimentary football player. He's very smart. He's an excellent athlete, and they want to keep him healthy, Mark. They don't want to subject him to a lot of open shots, a lot of things in the running game. If you recall, in that Napoleon game, he took some pretty heavy shots. And we're like, whoa, coming off a knee injury in the summer.
Well, and he ran a couple times, and we were like...
He did. And the shots he took were significant. So I think keeping him healthy to make some of those key throws, but it just all comes down to this offensive line. I'll tell you, Nick Miller, Paul Amstutz, and the entire staff, Ryan Miller, these guys are blocking end-to-end out of the backfield really well. They are firing, as we've said, on all cylinders, just precision running game. I laughed earlier when you said, it was a penalty. Liberty Center's talking about being within strike, and you're like, hey, everywhere is a strike zone.
Tell me where that is.
Everywhere is a strike zone.
It's anywhere it's green. Hey, before we get started here, let's talk a little bit about our schedule next week. Monday, we've got a freshman football game. The Bryan Golden Bears will take the field with our freshman Liberty Center Tigers right from Rexlinger Stadium, Kip Kern Field. So we'll have that. And then Tuesday, we've got girls soccer. Diamond Dan and Scott Barrett and the crew will be on that. We will be on the road with our volleyball team, Scott. We're going to travel to Delta to cover a pretty critical NWAL matchup.
That's for the title. I believe that is for the title.
I think it is. I think Patrick Henry's down the road. They always, the Liberty Center.
down the road, I think, right?
No, we beat Wauseon last week. So, it's going to be tough for somebody to dethrone Liberty Center. I think they're looking at the NWAL title. They're very serious, very businesslike, like Casey. But we'll have that coverage. We'll stream the JV game, but we'll broadcast the varsity game from
that's going to be
the Delta
exciting.
Fieldhouse.
That's going to be exciting for our LC Tiger Sports Live, audience, because that Liberty Center volleyball team is on fire.
Oh yeah,
with the seniors they've got, some of the underclassmen.
Yep, Carly Zeider, Karen Savage will be on the call. I'll look like I'm probably going to have to run the camera and the board. I might take our newest member of the team with me. Mr. Cole Ballman is in the house today. Again, in the house.
A Liberty Center student.
That's right.
In the booth with LC Tiger Sports Live. Welcome. He's an engineer tonight. Welcome, big fella.
All right, so just about underway here on Kip Kern Field. High end over end, Bryan. down to about the 13-yard line, returns straight ahead, and slips out of one tackle. That was a great effort right there in itself. Tigers get the ball up across the 25-yard line.
Aiden Talent with that run back. Senior, 5'10", senior number 9, did a good job of running through that first tackle, Spike, getting some additional yards. Love to see Aiden Talent getting on the field and get some reps.
Yeah, and if you're watching out there, pay close attention because this is probably the only series you're going to see the first team.
Yeah.
Running clock out 49-0 here.
All right, Tigers come out with a standard set. They got a wide out here to the wide side with the double wing package. Now motion comes this way. They're going to give it to the motion man, Cruz. Cuts to the outside. Great block there. Man. Straight arm. Brings upfield. Cuts past one. Colton Cruz bangs forward up to the 47-yard line.
Well, I'm going to tell you
19-yard gain.
Spike, I didn't mean to cut you off there, but I saw nothing but touchdown. Had he cut inside, Colton Cruz makes very few mistakes when he reads the field. I think he gave up maybe some pay dirt, but what are we talking about? A 60, 70-yard run if he would have. Give me a break. That was a big gain by Colton. Good job.
Well, sorry, Scott. Line. It was only a 39-yard burst.
So disappointing. He just disappoints me every time he touches the ball.
All right. Wing package offset to the right. Now Chambers in motion. He'll take the handoff, hitting the backfield. He'll bang through that one and fight his way back to the around the line of scrimmage for no gain.
Jacob, you're in now. We talked about, Mark, what do you do when you're getting run out of the stadium in the run game and you start taking chances? You do some run blitzing. You commit defensive backs to the line of scrimmage, and I think that's what they did. They made a run blitz there. It was a good call by the Bryan defensive coordinator and stopped Liberty with a loss. One of the very few plays we've had a loss in the run game tonight.
Yeah. All right, tight end left, wing right. 2 in the backfield. Give to the first back, straight ahead, pounding through. Wow. That looked like Colton Cruz, and he'll get down around the 45.
That was Trenton Cruz, wasn't it?
It was Colton, number 2, yes.
It was
Picks up about 9 on the play. That'll bring up third down and about 2 to go.
I tell you again, I get the pleasure of being able to kind of watch whatever I want. And I've been watching the offensive line, and man, they were just coming off the ball with force.
Do not forget number 71, Clayton Seals having a big night in those 0-1 traps.
All right, now motion, Colton. Play action. No, give it right up the middle, and that's going to be good for about 5 yards, and that's a Tiger first down. Amstutz carried out his play action fake.
It was a good run there by number 5, Trenton Cruz. And, you know, you look at Trenton Cruz, Spike, he's 6 foot 190. I'm not sure he's that big, but I'll tell you, he runs a lot like Earl Campbell.
Yeah.
He squares them shoulders, man. He delivers a blow.
Earl Campbell had a thigh his size of him.
He did. Earl Campbell. Tyler Rose, but these guys run physical. They are hard to bring down, and they also have great cutting ability. They see the field. Man, these two backs are fantastic, Spike.
Okay, double wing set now. They're coming around motion. They'll give it to that wing back motion.
Ooh.
Hit right away, and he'll pound forward for 3. I believe that was Chambers, Colton Chambers.
Yep, Colton Chambers on the wing back.
Colton Chambers doing yeoman's work tonight blocking, but he's had some nice carries, a couple nice catches, and yes, he did have one drop. That is rare for the Chambers boys to get that block. I saw Leighton and Christian down here having a stroke when he dropped that ball, Spike.
Yeah.
You might not see Colton drop another one the rest of his career.
Okay, double wing set, single setback. Amstutz under center. Double tight end, motion, now give straight ahead down to Zider, and Zider will pop forward, picks up a yard maybe against some pretty stiff competition.
Well, Devin Egnor, a 5'9", run-plugging senior, just played a little bit lower there, stacked up our offensive line. I think that was actually got into Landon Bockelman's leg. So, again, you've seen a couple of adjustments on Bryan. Play low, submarine on those inside runs, and have some run blitzes, taking some chances, trying to get Liberty in the third and long.
Play action might put a sting to that here.
All right. 3rd and 6 now from the Bryan 37-yard line. Amstutz under center. Wing right set. Give to the second back.
Nice
through. Kicks to the outside. Switches to the left hand at the 30. Trying to turn the corner.
There it was.
Cruz makes a cut back to the inside. He's into the end zone. 38 yards on a dazzling run. He used it all. A little power, a little speed, a straight arm, and a great cut. Glory land. 55-0 0 Liberty Center.
Oh my goodness! And that we're obviously seeing a pretty dominant and crushing performance by the offensive line. But when our guys get in the open field, Spike, I mean, they have just got great feet and a great sense. Show a hip, put a foot in the ground, explode, back to the numbers for a big touchdown. Man, Colton's having a big night.
Spangler snap good. The hold Amstutz good. Rosebrock on the way. Delivers again.
I'm a little worried about Ian Rosebrook's leg. He might need to ice this.
Yeah,
Where's Amanda? And Tom Russell's over here just scared to death. He might kick his leg off. Goodness sakes.
Well, Max Walker kicks for the JV squad.
Next man up. But, man, Spike, he's getting a workout tonight. An extra points, isn't he? He blows them through there, doesn't he? He kicks those things through the end zone. He can kick it. That kid can flat out kick.
Yeah. Well, and you know what the thing is with him? He's got the same motion no matter where he's at in the field.
He's a good kicker.
Yeah.
Liberty Center has had a lot of really good kickers in the modern era.
Well,
the soccer program has partnered with Casey, and Tom Russell has been great on the development side. And Spike, you've seen some great kicking the last 10, 15 years.
How many schools have their own kicking coach? I mean, really.
I know.
Tom Russell is a hidden gem.
And he works.
You better not tell too many people about him. The Lions might come down.
He is for hire.
Yeah.
But I think he's enjoying himself here at Liberty Center, and he is a kicking guru. Make no mistake about it.
All right.
Take Sonnenberg in there on the kickoff team. Some new faces.
Oh, man. What a boomer.
Crushed.
Wow. That lands a couple yards deep into the end zone again. A little bit of mix-up.
Brian laying some licks on the return team, Spike.
They got to try to win something, Scott.
They won a couple blocks there. 56-0 as the clock will be running here. But boy, oh boy, Liberty Center. Man, oh man, this is impressive on a perfect night for football. The fans turned out tonight. We probably got close to 2,000 people.
Oh yeah, full house.
The Youth Football League
probably got 2,000 people online.
Oh man, it's just rocking and rolling. It gets no better. No better.
Yeah. All right, Tigers with 8 men up in the box, run straight ahead. Boy, look at the power.
Oh boy. We're gonna get a.
What is that?
We're going to get an unsportsmanlike call here. I think we hit a kid that was vulnerable, but he was still running.
There was no whistle, and he was running.
They're talking.
He hit him from behind. They're going to give him the penalty for an unnecessary roughness call on that tackle.
Oh.
Well, here's the story, guys, and we're not going to debate it. We're not going to talk a lot about this, but Liberty Center likes to hit, and Liberty Center a couple weeks ago had a few questionable hits, and the Tiger coaching staff really got after our defenders for some of those hits, and he's came off the field again. I mean, Casey handles this stuff. You get a penalty. Casey brings the guy off the field. He's coaching him up. I'm sure there's going to be additional ramifications. Listen, Casey's handling this stuff very well, and the whiners on social media need to shut up because we're taking care of business here. Good job by Casey and handling that situation. But that play there was questionable as the running back was still running.
And we talked to Casey about this, and Liberty is going to block, and they're going to hit until that whistle blows. So if you don't blow that whistle, and that was Casey's argument, you don't want my kids to do that, blow the whistle.
Well,
my kids are going to block and hit and tackle.
If you're going to hit late, you're going to get a flag, you're going to get taken out of the game, and you're going to get punished, and that's what you're supposed to do as a coach.
All right, straight drop, has time, now scrambles, now dumps it off over there in the flats to the left.
Great
hit
tackle
right
by Grady
Good
Miller.
Open field tackle. Grady again on another big hit.
Spike, I don't know. You've been around football a long time. This is as good of an open field tackling group as I have ever seen.
Yes,
they
I
are
totally
outstanding
agree.
Open field tacklers.
Bryan trying to hurry there. I know they want to score. They don't want to be blanked. I can understand that.
4 for Bryan. They've got the ball at their own 46.
Ooh, their receivers weren't set.
They've got running room. Takes on a Liberty Center tackler, and he'll bound forward, picks up the 4. It's a first down at midfield.
If you recall, earlier in this game, Bryan was very effective on the ground, and I think they're starting to see some green shoots running the football for some first downs here.
Yeah.
Hey, I got people telling me I sound like I'm underwater. I've got a sore throat today. I actually had to call the 8th grade game last night, so, I'm not used to that.
Okay, double wideouts. Slot over there and caught down there on the sideline.
40 on the tackle.
45.
Another good tackle, number 40, Zach Weaver. But, just one other note about that late hit. Casey brought the player off the field, got after him. He has not returned to the game. So there's a lot of internal coaching going on. And, I really appreciate that about Casey and the staff.
All right, bounces off one.
Got a flag here.
Pound forward.
You got to get him for a motion.
The staff does a really good job of making kids accountable.
The receiver out here on our side moved. Pretty sure.
And that's what a good coaching staff's supposed to do. When there's something going on after the whistle or something illegal or something late. Just an excellent job of coaching these kids up and teaching them how to act and behave. And I'll tell you, you're in the middle of a game and a running back's still running. I tell you what, you want to hit, man.
Yeah,
it's hard. It's a hitting, violent game. And sometimes you go a little bit too far, but that's where the coaches have got to step in, and Casey's doing a good job coaching some of these players to do a better job making better decisions on some of these plays.
Okay, drops back to throw. A lot of pressure. Has to dump it out there. Caught down there at the 25-yard line. He'll ramble down the sideline and thrown out of bounds down around the 10 somewhere.
I'll tell you what, Bockelman was bearing down on that quarterback. Well, he made a great play to stay in there because he was another half a second, he'd have had a 75 tattooed on him.
Yeah, on his forehead. All right. Give up the middle, pounding, twisting, and the Tigers close fast. Maybe a yard, if anything at all.
Mark, you talked about calling the 8th grade game. Bryan football and Coach Redhead's got things going in junior high.
Yep.
I think they swept Liberty Center last night.
Yep.
And got a couple wins, which is rare. Liberty didn't lose much in junior high, but
8th grade game was 12-8.
Straight up the middle.
Unfortunately, the quarterback, Isaiah Badenhop,
broke his left wrist.
Broke his left wrist.
Pick up a couple of yards is all. So third down and goal from the 8.
Patrick Henry has taken control of the Wauseon Indians 24-14 midway through the third quarter. PH 24, Wauseon 14.
Now rolling out, scrambling, has some room, heading for the corner. And
nope, not in.
Nope, he's down at about the 1 yard line. That's going to bring up 4th and goal from the 1.
Yeah, and Bryan being a proud program, they want to score.
Well, sure they do.
And Jace Kepler is legit, guys. I mean, he's one of the best athletes in this league. He outran the entire defensive unit to get to the corner and the flag. I thought he scored there, Spike, but
yeah.
See if the defense can hold him out of the end zone
here. All right, from the 1. Quarterback. Handoff going around that side, pounds off one tackle.
That's a touchdown.
And, the signal.
Yep, touchdown.
They do signal touchdown. Just got into the end zone.
Liberty defenders, though, Spike, had a chance to get him for a negative play, but Sam Harold is a stout 5'11", 201-pound senior, and he just willed himself in the end zone. And Mark talked about it. There is a pride piece when you're getting run off a field. When they wanted to put a touchdown on the board, they did that. And Bryan will convert the extra point to make it 56-7. Again, to repeat, Patrick Henry now started to take control of that Wauseon game, 24-14. And Spike, you don't want to look ahead, but I think it's pretty safe to say next week, battle of the undefeateds.
Yeah,
you bring in a legendary head coach that's on the cusp of being the all-time NWOAL coaching victory leader. And I'm telling you, Patrick Henry is going to give yourself a lot of effort. They're going to give themselves a chance to beat Liberty Center. They're well coached. They've got a lot of skilled guys. They can run the football. They're a very good football team.
Nope. I've watched film, and guys, I'm going to go out. I'm not even going out on a limb. I'm just going to say flat out. The ability of our line and our line play, not going to happen.
Well, I'd like to have that kind of confidence, but PH will certainly bring their war wagons, no doubt.
Well, you'll have to get here at 3 o'clock to get a parking spot.
And let's be very clear. Bill Insamin is one of the all-time great coaches in this league, and we've been playing football in this league over 100 years.
Yep.
That guy can flat-out coach. He'll have his players ready. Next week, throw the records out. It's all about the communities. It's all about the history. It's all about the culture of the programs. I think Bill will have those guys ready to go.
All right, kickoff.
Thomas
that comes
Moeller.
down to the 5-yard line.
Sees a crease. Here he goes.
Angle to the right.
Nice cut all the way back to his right.
Got him another tackle.
Wow.
Keeps his balance. Spinning, twisting.
I'm telling you what, boy, that kid is talented.
To the 45-yard line.
Man, Spike, I mean, did you see that jump cut he made to his right? I mean, you could see the alley open right up, coming right at you and I at about the 35. Bryan closed that down, and boom!
Yes.
Man, I tell you, Thomas hit the brakes, went right, and got himself into the open
I
field.
have to get you a telestrator. A John Madden Bam! He's over here.
I mean, that was impressive. I mean, he put his foot in the ground and hit that jump cut. Wow, Thomas Moeller on fire tonight.
All right, Tigers with a wide out, spread to the far side. Standard wing right set. Amstutz under center.
Nope.
To the first back.
Smith
Pounding
under
straight
center.
Through. Oh, Smith in the quarterback.
Yeah, I didn't think you're going to see the starting crew here past the first series.
Well, you've got
That's right. Walker's in there.
Some reserves and some varsity players.
Yep.
Number
Landon
14.
Smith, lineman in the game.
Blake Garber, number 71. He's had a heck of a night tonight. Clayton Seal.
They're going to run the clock out here.
Oh, yeah. Those 0-1 traps have been phenomenal for Liberty, and Clayton Seal's been a big part of that. Stephen Brogan, phenomenal. Tyler Lay. I mean, there's some bad dudes at guard and center for Liberty Center. We talk about the tackles, but the guard center play has been fantastic all year long. It's hard when Landon Bockelman, and number 70, Seth Navarre have just been so good for so long. But, man, those guys at guard and tackle, guard and center, but they've had a phenomenal year.
Getting nasty. All right. Hey, our sponsors make these broadcasts available to you guys for free, and we cannot say enough about how much we appreciate these guys. KK Collision, the leader in automotive repair industry for 27 years right here in Northwest Ohio. The Meyer Badenhop Insurance Company. 1933, they started in Northwest Ohio and servicing all the Henry County needs. Call them for your insurance quote. STN Design, your home for custom screen printing and embroidery. Affinity IT Group. You got 3 chords. Sign it, sew it, screen it, promote it. Davis Farm Services, Liberty Center-owned company, servicing farmers for 50 years. Swanton Welding, 1956. They started metal fabrication and been doing quality work since then. Pam and Dick Leatherman. Pisanello's Pizza right uptown, Liberty Center, sharing the gang, always helping us out. And finally, Gerald Grain Centers, that farmer-owned cooperative right here in Liberty Center, 9 locations in Northwest Ohio.
All right, Tigers come out. Caton Sonnenberg spread out wide to the far side. Gives second back. Breaks one.
Whoa.
Still going. That's Sider. Pound down to the 45-yard line.
And he runs that like the bus. You weren't going to stop him. He was stopped for no gain. Then he picks up 6+ yards. A quick shout out to Shane Hollenbaum. We are wearing his shirts tonight. And Rex Lindgren comes in and says, I look like a pumpkin, so I guess I better get on a Dexatrim or one of those cards, those Deal-A-Meal. Yeah. Yikes, man. But the shirts are great. Thank you, Shane. And 3-chord, excellent job.
And don't forget our apparel store is online, lctigersportslive.com. You can go to our
can
apparel
they still
store.
order
Yes,
the
STN Designs doing a great job on the Saccharino, the Saccharino shirt.
All right, Moeller and Zider. They'll give it to Moeller around the right side. Follows
What
the
a block.
cuts it up, stays on his feet after being hit, scrambles forward, still driving it inside the 30-yard line.
Max Walker on a great block and kick out. I mean, that's a big-time varsity block by Max Walker.
A sophomore.
That was Walker.
Yes,
Yeah.
Walker. Yep, Walker
kick out
point
block.
of attack, good kick out. Hey, quick shout out to Michelle Parasini tonight, working herself through a medical procedure and having to be home tonight.
Yeah, Mike Snow also.
Southern woman photography, uber talented. Get well soon, Michelle.
Yeah, Mike Snow out there too, recovering for some treatments and listening. Thank you, appreciate it.
Okay, under center now, Smith. Gives the Zider straight up the middle, takes on about 4 tacklers, pounds down to about the 28.
So sometimes you say to yourself, what's Liberty Center going to look like next year?
Yeah.
Well, guess what? you're looking at it.
Yeah,
it looks pretty good.
Yes, it does.
I mean, you don't look ahead to next year ever. We got a big season to play here, but Spike, this is a good opportunity for you to get familiar with the depth and so many good players Liberty Center's producing. 69-man roster, and most of them are healthy. Casey's doing a great job of cultivating a program, keeping them healthy, and keeping them sharp.
Okay. Mason Smith now under center. Backs offset to the right. Here's the give to Moeller. Now cuts it up inside the block. Pounds down to the 25-yard line. Gain of 3. It'll be third down and about 5 to go.
Might be a face mask in the pile. We'll see.
Yep, face mask.
Kind of flag came in late on Thomas, and happens sometimes when you're trying to drive the running back.
And he didn't signal personal foul, though.
Maybe a 5-yard. They're going to wave this thing off.
No, I don't think they can after they call it, but I think they're going to call a 5-yarder. Yep.
So 5 yards from the spot. That'll make it second down and about 2 to go. Ball's outside, just outside the 20-yard line. 8.5 minutes clock running with this running clock.
5-yard face mask penalty, right, Mark?
Yes, 5 yards.
Yep. Liberty Center
Yeah,
here.
he didn't signal personal foul, so.
This is where Casey now has shown some mercy, letting this clock run a little bit.
8:20, the clock is running, and Liberty Center's not in any big hurry to get to the line of scrimmage.
Spread out wide to the far side, number 22, Caden Sonnenberg. Zeider to the right, Moeller to the left. They run a pitch to Zeider. He'll break that one. Now cuts back across the grain, runs into tacklers.
Well, he's nimble.
He'll pound
He is
forward.
nimble.
Does a big
down
guy
near
do
the
that?
20-yard
I'm telling you,
line,
man.
and he will be close to moving the chains. We'll see about the spot. Nope. They say he's going to be a little short, so it's going to be fourth down now for the Tigers.
Nope, third down, Spike.
Oh, I'm sorry, third down.
Third down and 2.
Yep.
Spike, I grew up with Jerome Bettis with the Rams and the
Yeah.
Steelers. I'm a Steeler fan. And I'm telling you, he
Yeah,
runs a
buddy.
lot like him. His feet, he's nimble, he's athletic. You see it on the defensive line. I mean, Xander just gets off blocks and makes plays all the time.
Yeah,
He's
absolutely.
a good football player, man.
Blake Garber spread out wide to the far side, 2 in the backfield. Give first back,
Oh,
straight
yeah.
through, quick hitter, pounds off one, breaks a tackle,
Man, oh,
and
man.
slips and drives down to the 5-yard
Wow,
line. Gain of
just that
16
quick
yards.
That is basically what you call a 42 dive, and that is just a running back, get the handoff, get into the 2-hole, which is the hole between the center and the guard is 0, and the guard and tackle is the 2 on the right side. Right side even, left side odd. He hit that 2-hole, lightning, and then the defender showed the color. Boom, he cut off that defender. He was an inch away from a touchdown. I'm telling you guys, Thomas Moeller
The
can
real
run
deal.
the football. He can run the football, and that's a sophomore there.
Okay, Moeller to the left.
Now they got
Zeider to the
26
right.
in there for
Mason
Liberty
under
Center in the backfield.
Give
There you
Zeider
go.
pounding
Nice
through.
cutting. That's Roars. That's
I'm
Tyler
sorry,
Roars.
Roars, yes, 20, 26.
Tyler Roars.
Yep, 26.
Now, Tyler Roars is fun to watch because you get him in the open field, Spike,
Oh,
and
yeah.
he is a home run hitter.
Yeah.
I like watching him run those inside traps and dives, though. He's got to have good feet, follow his blockers, good patience for Tyler.
We got 21.
Yeah, all
Was that-
right.
That's Wyram back.
I never get that. I was going to call him
Second
Wembriak.
goal
Why were 'em
from
back?
the 2. 6 minutes left. Liberty Center already leads at
In my
56 to 7.
hoarse voice.
Smith under center. Hand straight ahead.
Wyvern
Power,
back.
diving down to the goal line. It is a Liberty Center Tiger touchdown.
Ted Wyram back.
Wow,
Impressive.
Wyram back. I
Gets
love
in
that
the
name.
book.
You know, what's impressive is when you're running dives, Spike, the offensive line has got to engage right now, and they've got to get a little push to start this thing. And I'll tell you, the offensive line all year long, and you've seen them more than me. I've been out of town. They have just been fantastic. Wow.
All year. And
Tip your
tonight,
cap to the coaches.
Here's the snap. The hold good. Kick is up.
Guess who?
It is good. Who got that?
Get the ice. Get the ice.
Man, oh, man.
It's Rose Brock again.
It'd be a hip replacement
Wow.
after this one. He is just kicking his leg off. And, guys, he's not just kicking the ball through the uprights. He's drilling this thing an extra 25, 30 yards.
I think we've got a ball burnout on the scoreboard here.
Yep. 63 to 7. And the clock stopped now while the play after the touchdown goes.
And we lost the camera for a second, but it'll come back on here. We ran over time-wise, but here we go. We'll come back to that. Quick adjustment. And, when everything goes well, something's got to act up. That's how it goes with us.
Well, at 63-7, if a light bulb goes out, I think Casey will be okay with that.
Yeah.
Now, Charlie Krug will have some work to do tomorrow morning, but I think we'll live through a light bulb.
Well, if we score again, then we won't hit the 3 won't be a problem. So,
yeah, I think Casey will do all he can to not get to that 70 mark. That's just not what he wants to do. And and Spike, one thing to remember, you don't want to run guys and embarrass guys because you got league voting at the end of the season. You want to treat everybody with class and sportsmanship.
Wow.
Tyler Lay.
Was that Tyler Lay?
Oh, my goodness.
Down from
like
behind.
A dog. I'll tell you what, Tyler Lay would be great on Yellowstone. He just kind of reminds me of a tough cowboy, an hombre. Chased him down across the field and put the arm on him. Great open field. Another great open field tackle for the Tigers special teamers. They've been phenomenal all night.
Bull roping without a rope.
Man.
Bulldog.
They used to call it go bear hunt with a switch. I mean, Tyler Lake, even though he's a little short, he's kind of a pocket Hercules. Not a guy you want to mess with.
And Bryan has gone to their second unit.
Yeah.
Kepler's
You're going to see the freshman unit for Liberty here pretty quick.
All right, there's a timeout down on the field, 63-7. 4:50 left on the clock.
Hey, once again, I'm sorry, Skag. Once again, join us next week, Monday. We'll have freshman football here as the Golden Bears will come back to town with their freshman unit. There will be no JV game tomorrow at Bryan. That's been canceled. And that has to do with numbers. It doesn't have to do with chickening out or anything like that. I've had people go, chicken out. No, it's numbers. It's all about numbers. Yeah, it's good. You just calm down. But Monday we'll have football. Tuesday we've got soccer here at the stadium, and then we're going on the road with the volleyball team over at Delta for a key NWOAL matchup.
A quick note, an all-time legend, Chad Hefflinger. I played with Chad on the 1985 0-10 season. Chad, it's a lot better football today than that 85 season, but I'll tell you what, Chad Hefflinger was one bad dude, and Julie Elling, one of the fastest females that you'll ever see in Liberty Center track history. So a lot of Hefflinger DNA in the football community. Good to chime in, Chad. Good to hear from you, brother.
And, a whole platoon of Tigers coming off the field. A lot of new numbers.
Logan Cifuentes in the game now, number 62. They've got a lot of hope for him coming up. Here's a sweep coming around the right
nice
side.
Play by Kern. Number 23, Kyler Kern. Very technical. That's a great job. Kept his outside arm free and did a good job. Got down the line of scrimmage and make that tackle.
Yeah, I like this. A lot of, Casey talked about getting reps for the other players, not the first unit players. And last couple of weeks, he's certainly been able to do that. And that's a fumble.
There's a fumble. Kyler Kern caused that.
Yep.
Wow.
I mean, Kyler Kern doing a great job in there. A linebacker that's back-to-back plays, a tackle and a forced fumble. Impressive. The old Kern DNA showing up here late in the game, Spike.
This whole game is just, I'm dumbfounded at the way the Liberty Center Tigers have dominated from start to finish. Fumble in the backfield, picks it up, has time. Now here comes the pressure, throws it short. Caught down there along the sideline up around the 33-yard line.
Good patience by the backup quarterback there, Spike.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, he waited for the receiver to clear.
Well, please join us for the KK Collision post-game.
That's going to be tough, guys.
Yeah.
I think I know who my guys are.
Tell you what, there's a lot of dudes that you could give awards to. And then I think, do we have the Spike Whitman unit of the game, or we still got that coming, right,
We
Spike?
do.
Oh, yeah.
I That's kind of become my favorite segment is the Spike Whitman unit of the game, the KK Collision post-game.
The
Spike
Kings
Whitman.
of the Wings.
Yes,
Yep,
Kings of the Wings.
All right, clock at 2:25, rolling along here. Out of the gun. Drops, throws the home run ball, man on man. That's going to come up short.
By the
Picked up
Roars.
there at the 45 by Roars.
He might
What
go.
a block.
He might go.
He's got running room and gets inside the 20-yard line.
I got to get that block out there, man. Somebody was on the block. 22 for Liberty Center. That's Sonnenberg. Tank is hit by a tank out there. Tank Sonnenberg just with a great block after the interception. And I think you're going to see the freshman unit out there, probably. We'll see who comes out at quarterback.
One of the play I was
Perry
talking to Nick Miller today about Logan Cifuentes, a player that's going to factor in big next year. A 5'10", 230-pound sophomore Spike, really tough player. Again, you want to get a little sneak peek at your 24 team, and you're looking at a lot of bodies here that are going to be key contributors next year. That's why you like blowout games once in a while. You get a chance to see the future.
Why we're back in.
All right, Smith
Double wing.
under center. 1:45 left, clock running. They're going to run the pitch sweep around the right side, looking for a running lane inside the 30, the 25 down to the 24.
Yeah,
JT.
probably get about 2 more plays off before we're done here.
JT Old Crew. Good to hear from Andrea Sandman. Shout out. She's watching from Charlotte, North Carolina. Gosh, we got all these great alumni just tuning in from all around the country. Chad Hefflinger on Catawba Island.
Wow.
Andrea Sandman down in Charlotte.
Well, I had I think it was Logan Cifuentes' relations from Canada. Sent me a message thanking me. Yeah, Liberty's going to go into victory formation here, so.
Now it's a great job and kind of exciting to have so many of our fans, Spike, that can't make it to the game tune us in.
Oh, yeah.
I get a lot of criticism for missing a number and you're missing it, Barrett, but it's great to have everybody tune in.
Hey,
fantastic.
Can they pick us up in Zanzibar?
Great job by Liberty Center tonight. Casey did not want to get to the 70 mark, and again, a sign of a class coach just calling the dogs off early. He knew what he had tonight. Early on, though, I'll say that Bryan did show you that they could run the football a little bit.
2,657 times our program was loaded tonight.
That's not even including the archives guys. So,
all right, there you have it. This thing over. Liberty Center dominates the first series of the game. A penalty hurt Bryan, slowed down the drive. They got it again, and that time they threw an interception, and from there on,
Katie barred the door.
It was. Liberty Center just annihilated the Golden Bears from front to back, side.
You guys remember
everything.
You remember old Dandy Don Meredith and Monday Night Football. Turn out the lights, the party is over. We were singing that song in the first half. Impressive performance. Another Liberty Center alumni, Brian Brown, out walleye fishing, getting after it tonight, enjoying the Tiger football success out at Kelly Shoal tonight. Oh, sending some pictures in, catching 2-inch fingerling walleye. Pretty impressive, Brian. Not as impressive as your Tigers tonight, 63-7, Spike. Not a lot to say. This thing got under control and out of hand early.
It's a juggernaut. These guys are so focused, and I didn't know how much Bryan could come out with, but I knew Liberty would be ready emotionally and mentally after the last 2 weeks, and that foretold it. Now, I'm not worried about this going to their heads because the coaching staff, one of the finest in the state,
and the seniors
will not, and the seniors, very much in control. They understand. But they are not going to let this thing get away from themselves. The glory and the pageantry of a big win will not go to their heads. That I guarantee.
Well, I think that when you're Liberty Center football, and the way Casey Moeller goes about his preparation in the preseason, he is taking one game at a time. But the fans, people like you and me who really enjoy the pageantry and the rivalry, this is a game you circle. This is the Ohio State-Michigan game.
Yes,
this is the Pittsburgh Steelers-Cleveland Brown game.
Which the Steelers won.
I'm telling you,
this
next week. And, I'm really glad it looks like Patrick Henry is going to get a victory tonight, and I am thrilled that they got that done against Wauseon because it sets up a classic, undefeated, two mega powers in Northwest Ohio and a match here at Rex Lindgren Stadium and Kip Kern Field. It just gets it's no better than that game like that.
It don't get no better than this.
Oh, it ain't over till it's over.
I'll say this. I'm still feeling Patrick Henry, but we're seeing a 24-17 game right now. Wauseon cut that lead. But Spike, as we look to next week, everybody's healthy. Everybody's focused. Liberty Center showed you they could throw the football, and they certainly showed you they can block. Yeah. And they've been doing that for a long time, but this year, this offensive line, led by Landon Bockelman and number 70, Seth Navarre, getting Tyler Lay back. I mean, this offensive line just looks dynamite.
Yes.
And here's something I love. They get together and they sing the school fight song.
Of course. That's what you play for.
The breakdown. And when we get into our breakdown sessions, guess what's going to be the opening thing? Ready, breakdown!
It's great.
One of the best things.
It's great to see the kids learn the fight song and sing it for the students and the fans.
And the students all go out there and sing it too. So a great tradition here at Liberty Center. All right, well, let's jump into the KK Collision post-game show. Spike, we have to pick somebody for offensive, defensive, and the Spike Whitman King of the Wings unit of the game. So, what do you think? Well, let me throw offensively. I'm going to throw out Colton Cruz. The reason I'm going to throw out Colton Cruz is not necessarily about the yardage that he got, but how he got it. How many cuts did he make? How many missed tackles did he cause? How many times did he put his foot in the ground and go in another direction, which is almost unhuman at times? So, he did get a lot of yards. He scored some touchdowns. But I think the way that he ran, for me, was a huge difference.
Spike, you want me to go or you want to go?
Go ahead.
Well, it's hard to argue, man. Colton had a gigantic night, but I think this is all about the offensive line tonight. I think the offensive line play made it very easy for Colton to move throughout the cabin, if you will. And there's a number of guys that I think that are worthy of this award, including it starts with Landon Bockelman. He was again dominant. Stephen Brogan was fantastic. Tyler Lay was outstanding. Clayton Seal had a big night. And I think my nomination tonight for Offensive Player of the Game is going to be number 55, the Goose, Brady Giesge. I think he has done a great job. He's improved so much. Nick Miller has worked so hard with him. He has had some really good football games tonight. Brady Giesge is my nomination for that award. Spike, you may have to bring the tiebreaker.
Well, I'll tell you what, two very good selections. Where do you go? With the running back, or do you go with the offensive line that set it up? I think in this case, Goose Giesecke. I heard you ramble his name dozens of times, and he was having a ball game. He was blowing people out, and as an underclassman, his rise to greatness comes from being a second unit player last year.
Yes.
And now he is standing out as another offensive line weapon.
Hell.
I think I'm going to lean towards the Goose.
I think we can make the call here, Mark. The KK Collision Offensive Player of the Game with a lot of honorable mentions to that offensive line, and certainly Colton. We're going to give it to number 55, Brady the Goose. Giesge. All right, let's get to the Defensive Player of the Game. This was a dominating defensive effort by Liberty Center tonight. You could give this award to a lot of different guys. I mean, you got a number of tackles, you've got interceptions, but tonight, for my money, from start to finish, number 75, Landon Bockelman was just dominating. There was no answers, and when he wasn't chasing quarterbacks down or pancaking offensive linemen or breaking through double teams, he was sacking the quarterback. My nomination's number 75, number 75, Landon Bockelman.
I'm going to vote that same way. I had him in my mind all along. Again, you could pick out any number of offensive skilled position people, but I would go with Landon.
What am I going to say here?
You got something to say? You got something to say, boss?
It's the trifecta.
Yeah.
All right. I had a feeling you'd go that
way.
The
defensive player of the game, number 75, Landon Bockelman, with a ton. Again, a lot of guys you got honorable mentions everywhere. Cam Colley was fantastic tonight.
Well, Xander Zeider, we mentioned
Xander Zeider, he was big.
And that's
Colt Chambers.
We always talk about this, and I hate to give him some credit for some of the things he comes up with. But Spike Whitman. Xander Zeider's been on the list every week.
He has.
Every single week. And,
you're right.
And it's always difficult when you've got a platoon of guys to pick out one. And quite frankly, this is why the next thing we're going to pick is the unit of the game, because you've got platooning of guys coming in and out. Linebackers, defensive backs, running backs. I mean, we saw probably 9 different running backs tonight.
Yeah.
Well, so this last pick is a solo job by Spike Whitman. You and I just get to watch the legend go through his. It's like a computer. It's like watching him in his old school Apple computer from the 80s.
Those abacuses, like the Chinese.
The abacus.
If you slide 5 of these over here and 2 over here and stand on your left foot, you pick.
Sadler Meats. The Sadler Meats is doing this.
The Kings of the Wings, baby. 10 pounds of chicken wings goes to the unit.
All right, Spike.
All right,
it's all yours, baby.
Well, the Sattler brothers. Back when they played,
bad dudes right there.
The triplets, they were tough people. They're the ones sponsoring this, and they were offensive linemen. So true to form, true to what's been set before us, and comes back around now. No doubt in my mind tonight, the unit of the game is the offensive line.
Impressive. That's almost too easy for you tonight.
Yes, too easy.
Yeah, like he had to think about that one.
And by the way, I really think the coaching staff, as an adjunct onto that, Spike, Nick Miller, Paul Amstutz, Ryan Miller, as a core offensive line group, that front group, that line of scrimmage bunch of coaches, man, I'm just telling you, those guys grind and they hit and they teach and they prepare. This offensive line is just outstanding.
And let's talk about the adjustments. They adjusted tonight. That first series that Bryan had, they pretty much had their way. So what happens? All of a sudden, we get a fourth player, kind of that Mike. I don't want to say Mike linebacker.
It was like a strong side linebacker.
Put their hand down
and stop the quarterback from running
and change the whole series of the way that the game went. So. Great coaching staff. We talk about players. We talk about a lot of things. Casey Muller's the general, but I'll tell you what, he's got great troop.
Well, I think if you talk to Lynn Grohl, it's Black Swamp, who covers a lot of football, he will tell you point blank, this is good of a coaching staff, top to bottom, all the way through your kicking coach, all the way up through your head coach. This is something to see here. I mean, I granted it was a big, easy win tonight, and we got a big game next week. But these coaches, the time they put in away from their family, the 2-a-days, the May camp, the July camp, they've just been phenomenal, and they've been phenomenal for a long time.
This was an easy game only because of the dedication.
They made it easy
of the football team.
Yep.
These guys really have learned how to play as a unit. Play together, understand that technique is what it's all about. Trust the man beside you.
All right. Well, once again, for the KK Collision post-game show, the offensive player of the game is Goose Giesecke for his offensive play. The defensive player of the game, Landon Bockelman. And the unit of the game, the Kings of the Wings, is the offensive line today that really did a great job of opening up holes and gaps and all those other sundries that the running backs love to see.
Guts apart.
Hey, real quick shout out to Rachel Whitmire. She's watching from Mexico.
Whoa.
Not New Mexico.
Buenos dias, señorita.
Mexico. So great to hear from Rachel. So
all right, Spike, take us home.
All right, so Liberty Center in what everybody wondered, how close is this going to be? What kind of a game can Bryan give us? The final score, if there was ever any question. Liberty Center dominates. They win it over the Bryan Golden Bears 63-7. Next week, it is the red, white, and blue of our friends to the south, the Patrick Henry Patriots. So on that note, everybody, let's look to next week for a great game. It's good night and good Tiger Sports.